Yeah, hey, what's going on, you guys? What's up? This is Gruda Ghost. Thank you all for listening. And today I got a really, actually a pretty, spontaneous live stream with, one of my followers, Chris Mitchell. He is one of my, newer subscribers. I don't know him really long, but I appreciate his interest. And Chris Mitchell, he commented on a lot of my old videos, and that means a lot to me. So Chris Mitchell, thank you for being here. Just to start off this live stream, can you tell us something a little bit about yourself? Because what I've known from you, you have children, but even though you make the choice to check out MGTOW and Red Pill content, Chris, can you tell us something in general?
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me here. I'm a late 30s guy who's been married. I was actually married to a U.S. woman, but I'm from Canada. We had three children together. She filed for divorce for about 5 years ago now. And once she realized that the courts were going to kind of swing things in a more equal favor, she decided to cut off all contact with me and my children.
Yeah, and can you add something like that? I mean, like, can you give me a specific example, like the way how she literally, abuse you when it comes to, like, no, no, that sounds a little bit strange. I mean, like, can you give me an example, like how the way she used, your children against you?
Oh, there are tons, really. Like I said, once we were going into the final stages of our divorce, initially her words to me were, "We'll work together," right? Which is totally fine. Like marriages and relationships end all the time, so that's no big deal, really. But the relationship with your children is is something you just don't turn off. Um, so she allowed me to keep in contact with them even while we were going through the final stages of divorce. When we were coming up to the last hearing, and things were kind of, like I said, looking to be split down the middle, 50-50 custody of the children, no restrictions really on access, which was our personal agreement. Essentially, she basically just cut the cord, right? She stopped answering messages. I'm back in Canada, so it's not like I can walk down the street and be like, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" Um, it came to my attention later that she had actually planned our divorce 6 months before the words were ever spoken, and she was in contact with attorneys, essentially free attorneys online that give advice that basically guided her through steps to ensure that she would get full custody and physical placement. So, obviously now I'm back in Canada. I'm working my ass off to rebuild my life because I left the US with nothing except 5 grand worth of debt to my family. And so I did my best to work that all off and rebuild my life. She basically threw the wrenches in that, right? Um, it's not easy to lose your children. All dads love their kids for the most part. Only the bad ones don't. So yeah, the emotional stress that she put on me. Most nights for probably 3 years, I slept maybe 6 hours, and I was working 18 hours for the first 2 years I was here.
Yeah, that's so much. If I understand you good, actually, what you're trying to say, like, like, she already had a plan A, B, and C before the shit actually went wrong.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and like
Yeah.
this is actually the way how I see it. Like me myself, I don't have children, but I think it's really difficult. Like if you are not together anymore with the mother of your children, like if you like it or not, in some sort of a way, you will always have a connection with the mother of your children, if you like it or not. And I think, like, even though I don't have children, I think that is pretty difficult, I think.
So it's absolutely different. Like I said, they use that emotion against you, right? And if you think that, you've got this special snowflake, this diamond in the rough kind of wife, mother of your children, whatever, you don't know that person. I thought the same thing. Okay, I thought the exact same thing. This woman was different than everybody in her family, uh, most women that I had met, but I thought I was in a good place with a reasonable person. I learned very hard way that, I lied to myself, right? Now, this was before I ever knew what the red pill was, before I ever knew what MGTOW was. I mean, if most advice that you look up, if you search for reasons and whys and hows to kind of help you get through a divorce, um, you're going to find the wrong information, the very wrong information. Okay, that divorce has already happened in her head. You're already separated. There's no going back. And most of the videos that you will find, like even on YouTube, when you find, like, how do I make it through a divorce, are all blue pill bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Uh, to be honest with you, if I hadn't run across Terrence Popp's video, that was one of the first videos I found was Terrence Popp and Sandman, right? They're like legendary for being the first. Uh, Dude, I probably would have self-deleted myself, years ago. Uh, but luckily, I found them, and I just kind of went down the rabbit hole. Um, so um, that's pretty much how I got my start. And of course, these guys led to other content creators, uh, and eventually led to where we are today. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's still probably thousands out there. I don't know.
And that is simply a fact. Like a lot of guys, they are claiming, like, just because of the fact that they found that camaraderie within MGTOW and the red pill community, that, yeah, prevented them from, yeah, committed suicide, I think. And, like, yeah,
Absolutely,
like, we can talk about this for hours, but MGTOW saves lives. That is just a fact.
absolutely.
But actually, like,
I am
uh, I also want to ask you, Chris, like, when you met the mother of your children, uh, like, did you thought, like, she is the perfect woman for me, or did you also thought, like, she can be a good mother for my children, or maybe a combination of that, like before you had children with that woman, what is the picture that you had, of her? Can you tell me something about that?
Well, I mean, when it comes to let if I can go back to that first part, if with how MGTOW saves lives, the red pill community saves lives. I am willing to throw good hard cash down that they've saved more lives than suicide hotlines, and it's a very new phenomenon compared to that. On the second note, there, I was very blue pilled when I met her, right? Yeah, I was a bit of a playboy, but I mean, I was very blue pilled, right? Um, Actually, I met her through gaming with her former husband, who committed suicide 2 weeks after his second son was born.
Oh,
So that's
really?
how blue pilled I was. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I've been gaming with this guy for a couple years, right? And of course, we talked on Skype all the time. We had a good uh, communication and a good long distance relationship. Um, when he committed suicide, there was about a month that went by where I couldn't get a response from him. And actually, a third party friend of ours is the one who mentioned to me that he had actually killed himself. So I started
Damn.
trying to reach out like hard, right? Email, Skype messages, whatever I could. I tried to reach out to make sure that this was actually true. And about a month into it, uh, his former wife, who became my wife, reached out and confirmed to me that he had actually killed himself with his two sons in the house. Right.
Damn.
Um, yeah, and I honestly, other than what came out later, was that the third party person that told me about it first, they were kind of having an online affair essentially, right? And when she found out that he had just had his second son, she broke it off. But who's to say what actually pushed him to start his own gun? Um,
But what you
I'm,
said, you know him from gaming? What you said?
yeah, yeah, we used to play WoW together. We played WoW together for a couple years, and that's how I knew him. Right? I've never met him in person.
So it's you like
Um,
he is just your gaming friend.
yeah, he was my gaming friend, and after she had contacted me about him committing suicide, um, we started chatting back and forth. I mean, I did what most normal people would do. You try to comfort a person who's just walked in to their husband or wife,
So
kind of scattered all over the
actually
world.
like his ex-girlfriend is your ex-girlfriend, but you never met himself.
Yeah, well, his ex-wife is my ex-wife,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, that's
right?
crazy, man. Like like
No,
this is an example like how crazy life can be.
it is. It is. I mean, we spoke after he committed suicide. We spoke with each other for probably 3 years, right? Before we ever met. And when we met, well, yeah, things happened. She ended up getting pregnant with our first son, and that was the that was the start of the whole thing.
Yeah, and
Um, and
the way how you say that, Chris, like I totally understand you because of that situation, yeah, you like you feel you have the feeling that you actually have a good connection with that woman. You trust that woman. You think, this woman will be the mother of my children, and we are gonna be live happy forever, but unfortunately it was not like that.
absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, the bonds between soldiers, right, who fought, watching their other comrades die in trenches or buildings, they build a bond, right? So when you go through hard times together, it generally brings people closer together. You have now seen a person at their worst, and they've seen you at your worst. You got through it
Yeah,
together. You would think that, well, between men generally, those bonds kind of stay. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, Clearly, for women, it doesn't. They have no sense of loyalty, duty, honor with each other, no respect for each other. I mean, it's just a free for all. But that's something I didn't know at the time. I didn't know their nature, right? So, like I said, although I was a playboy, I was still very blue pilled. Um, and it's been a hard pill to swallow, but it's one that's being around. There are more young guys now that see it for what it is and want nothing to do with it, even though they haven't been through it themselves. They learned from their predecessors, essentially, guys like myself, guys like yourself. They're like, hey, I don't want to go down that road. I'm just going to start with them. You know what I mean? I'm going to start over here.
yeah. Chris, I hear a little bit of a disruptive sound. Can you Can you make your mic a little bit better, or maybe?
I don't know how to do settings on these earbuds.
Yeah, because
I can
I
type.
hear you, but I hear some disruptive sound in the background. Or
No, that could be just me moving. It might pick
okay,
up that background sound. Is that any
yeah, okay,
better?
yeah, never mind, never mind. But anyway, I wanna ask you, Chris, like, uh, how your child, how old are your children? How many children you have?
I have four total,
Four.
but I had
Damn, but
yeah,
with that same woman?
I had three. My oldest has just turned 11, and a week after his birthday, just a few weeks ago, he reached out to me and found me on Facebook because right
Okay.
now she has it set up so that I can't contact him, but he can contact me. And he's, to be honest with you, he's been super, I guess, understanding of what reality is. You know what I mean? He's not angry. He doesn't believe I abandoned him like she claims. He's actually like, Dad, you were the best guy ever, you know. So the last couple of weeks have been pretty awesome with that. Unfortunately, he can't tell his younger brothers, who are 9 and 8, because they can't keep a secret, and we have to keep it a secret right
Yeah, and like if I hear this story, I am so glad that I don't have to experience that. And I like me also. I learned so many things also from other content creators that have been married, that have children, and like I already said to you before we were going, like there is nothing wrong with want to have children. There is nothing wrong with want to get married. There is nothing wrong with having a family. That is something natural. But actually having children and actually being married and actually being in a relationship, that is actually the exact opposite of what you wanted. And that is also definitely an aspect of MGTOW. It is not that we don't necessarily want a relationship. No, the way how we want it, that is not possible anymore. So we walk away from that shit.
now. Absolutely. We're sold a lie, right? We're sold the traditional lie in a modern world that it doesn't actually apply to, right? We're told that, oh, these vows mean something. You know, marriage means something. Yeah, it means your absolute destruction if she wants it. And she can want it at the drop of a dime. I'm not happy anymore. That used to not be a good enough excuse. Now it's all you need.
Yeah,
And it's she doesn't lose anything, right? She's just swapping you out for the newest model. And she can destroy your life in the meantime. Take your children, take half of what you own, take everything of what you own in some cases. I mean, here in Canada, I know Double was talking about, I think it was, no, sorry. Uh, Somebody mentioned something about common law. Okay, I live in Canada, Cup Central. Okay, common law literally turns into dating. You don't even have to live together. You don't have to spend 5 days in a house with them. And you can end up paying up to $10,000 a month to some broad for the rest of her life.
yeah,
Oh, Kevin Samuel's just done a recent video about paying for ass, okay? Because your time is worth more than what it costs to rent a woman, okay? If you rent her, you never have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about paying somebody alimony because you dated them. Here in this country, you now do. How does that sound?
Yeah,
Not
it's
like you're
how does not sound?
scared.
It sounds really scary. But I also think like men have a different perspective of marriage than women. I think, and this is just based on my information. I think for women, it is not specifically about the marriage itself. For them, it is all about that one special day. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you an example. About I think about 1.5 years ago, I changed my profile picture on Facebook, and I got a lot of comments. And one of those comments was yeah, from yeah, an old female coworker of mine. She was married that year, and I was writing a comment back, and I told to her like, yeah, thanks for the comment, and yeah, you are married. Are you happily married now? And her answer was like, she did not say like, yeah, yes, I am happily married. No, her answer was, yeah, I had a great day at my wedding day. I mean, that says more than enough, right?
sorry, just had to answer somebody there. Yeah, no, I fully agree. It's to have a day. It doesn't mean anything. It's to have a day. Hell, the divorce
Yeah.
is to have a day now. They get married to have a divorce day. Where the hell does that make
Yeah,
sense?
you can see it as a yeah, yeah, for me it is a form of prostitution if you look at it like that way. By the way, hey, yo, Double I, what's up, man? We haven't talked to each other for a long time, but I will drop the link in the chat box. Double I, welcome to the ghost house, man. But anyway, yeah, Chris,
Yeah,
like I said, for them it is about that one day, that special day.
yep,
For them, it's my, yeah. I see it as a
absolutely.
form of prostitution. That's the way how I see it. And even though I never experienced it myself, yeah, I am so glad that like I made the choice. Like I don't want that, man. I don't want to know how that feels.
You really don't, and I don't recommend any guy try it either. Not ever, because it doesn't matter their background. It doesn't matter how good they seem or anything like that. The law works in their favor. So here, just kind of run that scenario. Okay, all of a sudden laws don't apply to you. How long is it going to be before you put that to the test? You might be the best person on earth, right?
Yeah.
But it could be 6 months, could be 6 years, could be 10 years. Eventually, you're going to test out the theory. And the best person on earth who wouldn't have hurt a fly when a consequence is applied to them is going to become an actual murderer that day, right? Nobody wakes up or is born a serial killer. They are made, and they push those boundaries. Eventually, somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to take the next step, and I'm going to push the limit and see if I can get away with it." Most don't, and I don't recommend it. But at the same time, if the laws didn't apply to you, why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah,
And
I totally agree with you, man. And like sometimes I'm also thinking about that. Like, when was that moment that you find out that you actually deep inside had the capacity to kill, to take a human's life? I mean, like we all have it in us. You, me, it is just like who can control themselves. I mean, like killing somebody is really easy, but trying to get away with that is really difficult. And that is the
it
reason,
is.
like we don't kill each other. I mean, uh, like like I'm gonna give you an example. I can be so angry at you, Chris, that I'm gonna kill you. But then they catch me. I gotta go to jail for maybe 20 years, maybe for the rest of my life. Like, I know about the consequences, so I'm not gonna kill you. But that doesn't mean I don't have it in me, and that doesn't mean I cannot kill you. But I'm just not gonna do it because I know
Right.
about the consequences.
You weigh out those consequences. Yeah, okay, I'm angry at you. You've done something now that's angered me, and it could be next to nothing. It could be something serious, right? But you're now furious with me. The law keeps you in check and says, hey, you have the right to be angry, but you don't have the right to act on it, right? There are very few laws where it says, hey, it is okay to take another's life. It's okay to destroy someone. Very few, but they do exist. Now, let's say for one side of the argument, they're all gone. Now there's nothing to stop you. Well, you'll start doing it for fun. Most young women don't grow up thinking, well, I can't wait till I'm 18 so I can start destroying men's lives. They're taught that. They're like, hey, there's no consequences for this. I'm not going to be punished. I am going to actually get cash and prizes at the end. And it doesn't even have to be true. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure, let's give it a go. There's no consequence, right? So they do it. I mean, like I said, the guy here in Ontario who's now paying the woman he dated for 10 months. They didn't live together. They're both very well off. They went on a couple vacations together. He's paying her $10,000 a month for the next 15 years.
Damn.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just for dating someone casually. She had the nerve. Here's the big one I don't get. She had the nerve to say to a reporter, I don't think it's fair that he has to pay anything. Yet she's the one who went to the court. The court didn't come looking for her, right? She went to the court.
Yeah.
If you don't think he owes you anything, why the hell did you go to a court? Because she could. No consequence. It's just like women who come up with the rape allegations. There's no consequence for false allegations. The last woman in the UK, and this is where Justin would have been able to add on to that, is she put 10 men in jail, right? One was for like 4 or 5 years for false allegations. Every one of them, I think she might have got 6 months if she got anything.
Damn. Yeah.
No consequence. Yeah, and she'll be out in half that time on good behavior. She's most
Yeah.
likely out already.
Yo, Double
But
I, what's
one
up,
guy,
man?
Hey, Garuda. What's up, brother? Long
Yeah,
time no
good,
see.
man.
You're here, right?
Yeah,
I like,
it's pretty it's a while that I saw you, man. I mean, yeah, I think the last time that I talked to you, Double I, that was in one of Tico Trends live stream. But I
that's
think
correct.
that's almost I think about a year ago. But
And I
I think
promised you.
a couple of weeks ago, I saw one of your videos.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, good, great footage, man, and yeah, good to also hear you speak, man. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
Double I, yeah, yeah.
I
Welcome to the
well,
Ghost
I
Town,
just wanted to remind you, Garuda, that last time we spoke, I promised you that I would not get on any other live streams or StreamYards or anything like that unless I come to yours first. And today, by fate, you got Chris on here, who's talking about the exact situation that I started studying before I left online and doing the live streams and stuff like that. So you know what, man? I don't know if this was fate or whatever, why I'm here, why you're here, Chris. It doesn't matter. I'm on here, you're on here, and I got some information I want to share with you, brother, about common law that you may or may not know. And either way, it's okay. But I've done a lot of studying in the last year. Garuda will tell you I have not been on, I have not been active, I have not been doing anything online at all because of it. And because of that, I've gotten much further in my case, and I've gotten more stability on my situations than what I used to go through. So just to give you some background, Chris, I haven't seen my children in over 10 years. And parental alienation is not just for me, but it's also familial alienation. So my family has been alienated from my two children for the last 10 years.
Exactly. The same thing happened to me. My ex, she cut off contact with all of my family, which was
Uh-huh.
long distance, so it's mostly through Facebook and phone calls, uh, or Messenger.
Uh-huh.
And not only that, when her family told her, "Hey, what you're doing is not right. Children need their dad," cut them off too.
Yeah.
Her own mother, in fact, she was like,
But
"Yeah,
we're dealing with multiple evil entities here. Do you realize that?
oh, absolutely, absolutely,
Okay. So with that said, may I deconstruct a few things for you?
go for it."
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay.
Do your thing, man.
Thank you, sir. It's okay. So, first thing is you've learned about the red pill, and that's all one thing, and that's great. You understand female nature. You understand hypergamy. You understand the whole, you know, carousel riding and the need for them to find a better mate and all that good stuff, right? So we're not going to talk about that. That's aside for right now. We're going to talk about the laws that bind us to this situation, right? The laws that you and I have maybe have forgotten, or maybe have uh, put to the wayside. So, what is common law? There's two sets of laws in this world as we exist. There's a de jure law, and then there's a de facto law. What is the de jure law? The de jure law is the law of the land. It's common law. It's regular law. It's the Ten Commandments. God said, "Don't screw your neighbor's wife." That's pretty much it. Don't steal from your neighbor, don't trespass, that sort of thing, right? 10 commandments.
Yep.
I'm sorry, number 3 or 4 commandment was something about graven image. I'm not going to look it up right now, but I'm just going to let you guys do your own research, right? So look up graven image. It's either the third or a fourth commandment. And God basically says, thou shalt not, continue in life, or however it's put. I'm not a biblical guy, by the way. Thou shalt not use a graven image. Well, let's analyze that. What is a graven image? In common law, the graven image is your name. So if your name is John David Doe, on your license plate, it's written in capital letters, John David Doe. That's called your ens legis. That is not your name. So let me explain that, because there's a lot to dissect right there in itself, right? So when you were born, on your birthday, your parents were presented with paperwork called a birth certificate, right? Paperwork, the application for birth certificate. They also
Right?
took your blood sample. They also gave you some shots, all some other shits, right? So there's a lot going on. And I'm sure you, as a father, you weren't paying attention to what was going on. You were just like, oh my God, I just had a kid. I just had a kid. You were in nervous land. So when your child was born, when you were born, something was going on in parallel. You had a twin that was born, a virtual twin on paper. Because what happens is that black ink stamp signature of your footprint on your birth certificate, what that is that's a dead, that's like a death certificate. The black ink signifies death, by the way. So, death certificate. You, in reality, were cast into the water and left for dead. But your virtual self, your ens legis, John David Doe, lived on, and you've been carrying it in your pocket as your license ever since you were 18. So that's your ens legis, okay? You understand. That's your twin. That's not you. Who are you? Let's get into that part now. You're a man. How are you a man? You were born a man under God, created by your mother and your father. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wrong, or yeah, I'm right.
No, you're right. That's how we
Yeah,
all
you're right.
start.
Okay, so you were born, let me repeat that. You were created by God through your mother and father. You popped out, and that was their creation, right? So above you is who? Mom and dad. And above who is mom and dad is God, right? So there is no one above you. Your two creators, mom and dad, and your ultimate creator, God. That's it. Whoever you define as God. That's up to you. It doesn't matter. Nobody else can define God except for you. Nobody else can define your mother and your father except for you. Why? Because you're the one who knows who your mother and father is, right? Period. We have other tests and all that stuff. We're not getting into that. So now I've defined two things. When you were born, and your twin was born, your virtual twin, your ens legis. And I've also shown you what your ens legis is and how you today identify as not your true self, your man self, but as your ens legis, which is written on your driver's license, John David Doe. So, what is your real name? It's actually John David of the family Doe. So whatever your first and middle name is, that's your name. And then your last name is not your last name. Why? Because you can't be the whole family of Does, can you? You can only be one Doe. So therefore, you're of the family Doe. Just like with other things, you can't be of something. You got to be that thing. So if you're John David, you're John David of the family Doe. You're not John David Doe. Does all that make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, I actually just recently watched a video.
Oh,
I can't even remember who it was. I thought it was Terrence Fox, or it might have been his live stream the other day.
let me give you
Your
more
government
finite.
property,
Let me
you
give you a
know?
more finite uh, link for that, and a finite channel that um, concentrates mostly on this kind of stuff. So you
That,
want to
that would
write
be
this
great.
down. You want to write this down. I'm actually going to try and copy a link and drop it in the StreamYard chat somehow. But it's called Alphonse Fagiola. So you want to look up this guy named Alphonse Fagiola.
How can you say this one more time?
I'm going to drop the link in the.
Okay.
Yeah, drop a link. I think it was Alphonse Fagiola.
Fagiola. Yeah, Alphonse Fagiola.
Hopefully this does.
On YouTube. Right, I'm on his web, his YouTube. I'm just copying the link. There you go, folks, in the comment section. Let me know if you all see it. Okay, so what Alphonse Fagiola explains is how to continue as a man rather than your ens legis, right? So he teaches you how to combat these courts and these fake trials that they hold because they're not a real court. Um, Let me explain something else. Okay, so even if you're in Canada, this does pertain to you. Because your case is freer in the States, right? Chris?
Yeah, sorry, buddy. You're coming in a little bad there.
Sorry. So you're in the States. I'm sorry, you're in Canada, but your case is in the States, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this does pertain to you. Here's how their corporation works. And I'm not going to take up too much of your time because you guys were on a great subject, but I just wanted to give you some information, Chris, because it'll definitely help you out. So what happens is, in the States, there's something called Title 4B. Title 4B is under the welfare system. Title 4 is welfare. Title 4B, B is portion of the child support program. It's not for children, nor is it for support of children. It's basically to line the pockets of the judges, the lawyers, and the clerks, and all the people involved with child support enforcement
Yes,
and
it's a big
collection.
numbers game to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's not just a 1-to-1 match. It's a 1 plus uh, expenses match. So that not only do they match whatever dollar you pay, but whatever their expenses are, the federal government will give them money for that. So it makes sense for
Exactly.
them to chase after you, to do all the things that they do, and get all the things from you and leech on you, like essentially bloodsuckers.
Yeah, and that's exactly how social workers and things work. It's the more cases they get into their system, so the more conflict they can cause between two parents, right?
Precisely. Precisely.
They get paid. Women's shelters do the exact same thing. And the last
Yes.
gentleman that tried to expose it, he did a documentary. He was facing 25 years in jail because the sheriff's in on it. The
Yep.
people who started the women's shelter is in on it. The
Correct.
mayor is in on it. The family court grant board is all in on it. They all get paid for causing these numbers. The more conflict that they can have, the more women they can have in their system, the more children they can have, the more
So
they make.
so how far are you? I mean, how far are you in your learning so I can take from there and expand on it if I possibly can?
Uh, Probably not much past that.
Okay, good.
You know,
So
I
then,
actually know more about U.S. family law than I do about Canadian family law.
so here's
And
here's what
if
we're
But
gonna
I,
that's
do.
only
yeah, sorry that I interrupt you guys, but if I did this right now, I am so glad that I am living in Western Europe.
Yeah, you better be. But you know what? The
well,
common law is over there as well. You're affected
yeah.
by this as well, bro.
Yeah,
I give a
it
shout
is
out to
always
Kenobi one since.
it is coming our way. But if I
No,
look
no,
at the
it's already there.
situation in the United States and
It's
also
already.
Canada, then right now in Western Europe, it is not that bad.
Let me explain what it means, Garuda, because I thought the same thing. I thought that this was not affecting my country, India, but as you know, it actually is, because common law is throughout the world, not just English-speaking countries. Most other countries that were taken under British rule were also put under common law. So let me explain what that is. We're men. We're not the ens legis. So essentially, in order to stop child support in all of these vexatious litigations, what are they? You have to identify them first, right? Remember, I told you there's two sorts of laws. There's de jure, and then there's de facto. What is de facto? Common law is de jure. What is de facto? Well, if you kind of look up de facto, it kind of represents, the word kind of represents something kind of not true. It's almost false. So it's like a de facto government, right? So what is de facto? De facto is civil law. So civil codes and things like that. They don't really pertain to us as men. Why? Because we never volunteered to be taxpayers. We never volunteered to be employees of the government. We never volunteered to be drivers. We never volunteered to be, anything like what they say. We're not residents. We're not members of their elite organization or anything like that. We're just people. We're just men, right? So
Yeah.
what they do is they use assumptions to get us men into their jurisdiction. How do they do that? And that's a very simple way to answer this, right? So when I come up to one of you guys and say, hey, Garuda, are you Garuda Ghost? You're just going to raise your hand and say, yeah, I'm Garuda Ghost. You're basically going to say, yes, you're who you are on your license, right? So by
Yeah.
stating that, you're automatically saying, yes, I understand what you're saying, and I am under your jurisdiction. That's what you're claiming by not saying. Here's how we should, you know, move forward, right? So if you listen to Alphonse, he's going to teach you about a couple of things. An affidavit of status, and that's the only thing I'm going to talk about because I don't want to hijack your stream, Guru, even though I promised you
No,
get to
no,
it
no, no,
first.
man. You are more than welcome, man. Do
Thank
whatever
you.
you want, man. Right now, I am listening to you, Double. I go ahead, man.
Thank you, sir. So essentially, what an affidavit of status is it basically outlines to those people who are automatically assuming that you're one of their citizens. Let's just use that word for now, okay? If you're one of their citizens, you fall under their laws. Why? Because citizens under maritime law are the lowest denominator in the sea. So law stands for land, air, and water. All right. So there's maritime law, there's land law, and then there's air law. So land law is man's law. Air law is ecclesiastic, so it's going to be God's law. Water law is corporations. So any corporate law that you fall under, you're below, you're underwater. So you know how they say you got to get above water?
That's yeah. So sorry that I interrupt. That's a really good point of view, Double. I never. Now, right now, I actually learned something from you. I never thought of it like that way, like law, land, air, and water. Yeah,
Yep.
I never even heard of that. So yeah, yeah. Thanks, man.
No worries. You're going to get a lot of little tidbits like that, but that's one of them, right? Like another one, Bar Association, British Accredited Registry. Most people think that's what it stands for, but it also stands for Bank Authorized Agent or Bank Register, something. Bank Authorized, I don't know, something like that. But let's keep going, right? So if you correct your status with them, you tell them you're not falling under their jurisdiction. And by that, they can't put you under any of these civil codes. So none of those civil codes matter to you anymore because you're traveling and you're continuing your life as a man. So when are you not a man? When are you using your ens legis? When you're working. When you go to work, you're not you. You're not John David of the Family Doe. You're John David Doe. Why? Because you're a taxpayer. You're going to work, and the hours that you're at work, you're not belonging to yourself. You're selling yourself to somebody else. You slut you prostitute. Yes, you're selling yourself to somebody else. And that money comes back to you in the form of a salary or an hourly wage. So
Yeah,
that goes to your,
exactly. Actually, and without that you even know it, like you became a prostitute of the system.
you're right. So you're willingly participating in civil activities. So therefore you are under civil law. So you can't go around doing bad things in under that civil law. Otherwise you're gonna get locked up. And rightfully so. You do something bad, you're gonna get locked up. Ain't gonna help you. But if you're not doing something wrong under the law and you are boxed into it, like take for instance the Title 4D, I'm not even going to call it child support anymore, guys. So if you don't know what child support is, it's Title 4D. So Title 4D is what we're going to call it because that's what it is. When you learn about what Title 4D is, you realize that, okay, all these things are for not me, the man, but it's all for the ens legis. The ens legis was voluntarily put into the system, and the ens legis is voluntarily paying the taxes and the Title 4D funds into the system and that sort of thing, right? So what you have to do as a not a representative, because you can't represent yourself, right? Because you're presenting yourself. Only a lawyer can represent you in court. So why would you want someone to represent what you're saying to somebody else? Well, that's because in the what do you call it, judicial system as it exists in their de facto law system, what happens is when you go into a courtroom, you are not human. You're a citizen. And citizens don't speak English. They speak Babel. So you cannot present yourself in front of a judge correctly. You have to be represented by a bar association person. And they have to go in front of the judge and say, hey, look, this stupid thing here, it fucked up somehow. And it's here in front of you. And I'm trying to translate that it fucked up. And you got to make it right, judge, because you have to make sure this thing continues its life. Or you can decide to end its life. That's all up to you, judge. Is that what you want? No. You want to be presented as a man. So that's where the affidavit of status comes in. You send this affidavit of status through the mail. You don't even have to go to court. You send this affidavit of status through the mail. And I'm not going to teach you how to do it. You go to Alphonse's channel. You figure it out yourself. I had to do it. You got to do it. As far as you go, Chris, if you want some help, Garuda can give you my number. I don't mind. So when you go after these people as a man, they have no standing. Why do they have no standing? Because you're going after them under the real law, not after the de facto law. The de facto law says that you are a voluntary taxpayer. You are a voluntary supporter. You're a pay rent. You're not a pay rent. You don't even own your kids if you're a citizen. You don't realize it. When they
No,
were born,
the state
you
owns
signed
your
over
kids.
your property to the state. That's why they get
Yeah,
involved.
and that's something that that Hammerham was touching on there in a couple of videos, and I didn't find the one where he specifically first mentioned it about being on that level with them and basically signing away yourself as not a human being anymore, just as a
A
bank
man.
account. Right.
No, you
I
gotta
mean,
tell them, you gotta correct them. You gotta let them know you're just a man, nothing else, right? So with that comes the power of the man. You're above them. Remember, they're under maritime law, right? So their court system and everything is set up for corporate maritime law. You're a man. You stand on land. So therefore, they have no standing on land. Anyone who has standing on land can write an affidavit. They cannot write an affidavit because they're not men. If they write an affidavit as men, they're not operating as an ens legis anymore. They're operating as a man. So
Yeah,
they came into your system.
that is totally true, double I. And like one of the most like one of the most primal objective as a man is, yeah, just try to survive.
Yes,
that's our nature.
yes, of
They
course.
they they try to neuter us on every level.
And the best way to neuter someone is through fear.
Absolutely. I mean, politicians have been using fear for decades, right? They're using it
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
Look at
and
the student.
actually, like whatever you think about the government is smarter than the average person. I mean, using fear. Like if you like people that are scared, like they cannot think clear anymore. They are making wrong decisions based on their fear, and that is what's happening right now. And like right now, guys, we are in so much of a fucked up situation that actually at the end of the day all you got is yourself, because like you are probably the only person in your whole family that knows, yeah, what the fuck is going on right now.
it's funny you mentioned
Yeah,
that because I've tried to mention all of this to the rest of my family, and they're looking at me like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. And it's funny because reality is, and I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, but most of these conspiracy theories that were proven correct, I'm trying to find that one that's not been proven correct yet.
uh, Anunnakis.
Okay, that's one. So is the flat Earth thing, but there's
Yeah,
other ones, right? But
yeah, there
there's
are. I mean, like I keep saying to guys, we're getting called conspiracy theories or theorists because of our outlook on the coup, right?
yeah,
And like, why are we going through this for something the majority of us would survive just like anything else, right? Well, they're saying, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Take your vaccine, take your shot, stay at home, do this. It's like this is only going to be a theory until it's proven true. And it's not a theory
Well,
anymore.
yeah,
It's a
but
fact.
do you know what it is, Chris? Like a conspiracy theory, like that is a term. Like people, you like people, those same people that cannot think clear, they are using that because
yeah,
actually deep inside, they will never admit that they are the ones that are wrong. So, like a
Exactly.
conspiracy theorist, like that doesn't mean like we are
Sorry,
right.
you broke up
I
there.
mean, you can call me crazy, but at least I'm a crazy guy that know what is going on. So yeah, better be crazy and be prepared than, yeah, than be quote
Exactly. And
unquote
I mean,
you know how
normal. And you
I look
know,
at it like a very, very, like factual and non-factual way, right? if you hear that from somebody, it's basically nothing but a shaming tactic. Very similar to the whole
Yeah.
red pill shaming tactics that we hear, right? So, but this is on a different level. This is not trying to shame us as men. This is trying to shame us from learning the reality and the truth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. I mean,
and that is actually, yeah, that's a good thing. And actually, I want to ask you guys about your opinion. Like I make the choice to not to get vaccinated. You know,
Ooh,
there are
this
a lot of
topic.
people they got vaccinated one or two or already maybe three times. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there are people like they took that vaccine because they want to go on holiday, but unfortunately, they cannot go on holiday with or without a vaccine. And
I'm going to
actually, my
answer.
point is like there
I'm going to
are
answer this
people
really
they
simple for
regret
you.
it. And actually, this is what I want to ask you guys. Those people that are regretted that they took that vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
are they honest enough with themselves to say like, I did a stupid thing, or do are they gonna blame us, the non-vaccinated people? What is your opinion about that?
It's very simple, Garuda. It's very simple. I'm going to refer to you about a comment that I made on this stream about 2 minutes ago. And that was the easiest way to control someone is what?
fear.
Yeah,
Bingo.
fear. Yeah.
There you go. That is the easiest and simplest answer for you. If you want a long winded one, we're most likely going to get shut down on YouTube. So which one do you want?
Yeah. I will personally start my shotgun before I let any fucking random person take a random, untested, unknown fucking
Let's
substance
let's not
in
even
my
let
arm.
hold on. Time out, Chris.
Not gonna
Let's
happen.
save this stream. Let's save this stream, okay? Let me
No, no, no! Don't save this stream, man.
well,
This stream
I'm going to
is
tread lightly. I'm going to
raw
tread
and
lightly.
uncut.
Let's call this a computer virus, right? Why? Let's call this a computer virus because I've been in the computer field for quite a long time, and I want to say more than most. So, being in the computer field, being in the computer field, I kind of know, you know, how the virus scanners worked. Remember McAfee? Remember Norton? Remember all those wonderful virus scanners that we used? And what did they find? Right? Most of the time, what did they find? Oh yeah, we just cleaned up, we inoculated, we put it into a directory, and I even had a floppy disk that I was collecting viruses. I think I have it somewhere still in storage. And
Mhm.
here's the thing: they all had a very similar signature, meaning they were probably made by the same creator. So, were there really viruses? Well, Apple came out and said, look at our operating system. We ain't got no viruses. But then all of a sudden they got viruses after they made those statements. And those statements disappeared. Well, if they wanted to sell virus scanners, they needed viruses on Apple. So, I mean,
Exactly.
going back to my comment, how do you control the population? Fear. So there it is again. I'm just saying, right? So then, with that said, let's talk about what payload is inside of the inoculation. And I'm going to call inoculation because those are the terms that were used on the program for antiviruses, right? So in order to inoculate your computer, I don't even know what the fuck that means, by the way. In order to inoculate your computer, you gotta uh, do a full scan, and it's basically going to go through all the ones and zeros inside your hard drive and look for some anomaly that does not belong and tell you about it, right? It's not really going to know
Right.
what's wrong or anything like that. It's just going to say, okay, these ones and zeros are out of sequence. It might be a virus, and that's what it's going to present to you. But using the terminology that it uses, it kind of fears you into saying, okay, just delete that shit, whatever it is. I don't want to ever deal with it again. And that's kind of what we're dealing with here, right? Oh yeah, just give me that, kill the thing, inoculate it, and let's move on with our life. And all these other computers that are not getting the inoculation, they're now the risk. Come on, come on. So you're not allowed to bring that computer on my network. You get it? That's what's happening on a global scale, not on computer networks, but for the human scale. So those of you that know how computers work, you could put the one-to-one and correlate the thing that I just said.
Right, but I mean, it's still a created phenomenon. Like you said, Apple didn't have viruses, right? They
Right.
came out boasting they didn't have viruses, and I remember hearing that Apple's don't get viruses.
Well,
Now
they
all
kind of
of a
know
sudden,
where this
you get
thing stems
viruses.
from.
Now
They
you
know
need to
where this
buy
thing stems
something,
from. They know where
right?
this thing
But
stems from. It came from the Wuhan lab. It's a level 5 lab. Why
yeah,
why would someone, give them a 5 lab? Why would you give them or you know what? Other people have already covered that. But the realistic thing is, we fucked up as a globe. We gave some children some toys that they should not have been playing with. They played with it, and then they lost some, containment. And because of that loss of containment, we are where we are. Is it constructed? Yes. Is it natural? No. If it was natural, it wouldn't be like this. Why? Because natural viruses don't act like
but
this.
that's just it. I mean, if this virus is so like the numbers don't add up, it
Period.
just doesn't add up.
The
You know what I
reason why the
mean?
numbers
When
don't
when
add
you
up
have a
because they fudge
virus
them.
that
They
when you
fudge the
have a
numbers.
virus that is so deadly, yeah, well, you botch the numbers, whatever.
No, no, no.
But when you have something
Let's
that's
define
so
deadly.
deadly,
Let's define deadly. Let's define those numbers, right? So you can't move on from these facts. What are the numbers? They're saying, and it's very simple. You can read the notes on all the telegrams and the letters that have been sent out to doctors and hospitals and stuff like that. It's very simple. The directive is the PCR test is it doesn't work, right? So
no, and it
they can't
ran until it
isolate
gets a
this.
false positive.
Right. So they can't isolate the protein that creates what this is. And Tico knows about this. If you ask Tico, he's got the whole lowdown on the whole thing. So, it's this whole thing is a fake. It basically is.
Yeah, but
And I'm not.
do you know what also the thing is, brother man? Like the reason that people are so scared of that corona, like most people, they seriously don't have any clue what is the reason that most people die. I mean, like let's say, yeah, last year, according to the statistics
Mhm.
here in the Netherlands, about 6,000 people died from corona, and most people are scared of that.
How
But what
strong?
people don't know that also last year about 68,000 people died from cancer, about
Hmm,
51,000 people died from heart diseases, and that like
Yeah,
people
and
don't even know where people like how many people are dying every year in a country for what sort of a reason.
let's
So
connect some
well,
dots.
those 6,000 COVID-19 there, like it sounds really scary, but it is not. And
Let's.
like don't get me wrong. Every person that is dead, yeah, that is one person too much. But if you seriously gonna compare it with cancer or HIV or whatever disease you can think
well,
of, that coronavirus is not so bad at all.
Let
so
me.
to
Let
inflate
me.
the numbers here,
Mhm.
we have had zero heart attacks, right? That's not true. We just had one. 4 hours after
There you
she
go.
got her vaccination, she died of a heart attack. Had nothing to do with COVID, though.
Yep.
But she's the only one. Our neighbor
But
up the
on
street
the death
died.
certificate, they'll write that they
Yeah,
died of COVID
our neighbor up the
because that's
street,
what they've been authorized to do.
right? Our neighbor up the street just passed away a few months ago, right? He died of cancer that he's been fighting for like 5 years.
Mhm.
Okay, only a young man too. So I mean that sucks even more. He left his family behind and he's gone. They would not come and take his body unless he said that he died of COVID. Cancer kills you, plain and simple. If I go out and die in a biking accident today, they're going to want my next of kin to sign off that I died from COVID related incident. That's an inflation of the number. Why?
You know
Because they're
why?
getting paid to inflate those numbers.
You know why?
Yeah, you are right. But like also when you look at the symptoms of corona, like
Right.
uh,
But here's
snorting,
why they're paying the numbers more.
headache, pain in your stomach, like everything that you can think of is related to corona. That doesn't make
Yeah,
sense. And also, like I saw a lot of videos and pictures of those COVID-19 vaccines, and like yeah, what I'm gonna say, like I don't want to dox myself, but I work at the pharmaceutical industry. I am making vaccines against breast cancer, cervix cancer, that kind of
Hmm.
things. The products that we make, like on those like I am literally producing vaccines. That is how I make my money.
Hmm.
But on the label of that vaccine that I make, it is like it is the name of that product, like on that label it is not, it's not like this is a vaccine against breast cancer, or this is a vaccine against cervix cancer. No, but what I saw at those labels on that COVID-19 vaccine, they are literally putting like a COVID-19 vaccine, a corona vaccine. And me,
right.
just because of the fact that I am producing that shit myself, that label already is not correct.
Hmm.
Because
No,
they
because I mean,
like
if
yeah,
they're calling
I
it
don't really know
a
how to
cure,
explain that in English, but I hope you guys understand what I mean.
well, they're treating this Pfizer vaccine like it's a cure. Well, you're talking about curing the common cold here, because that's what
Yeah.
most people get from it. Flu-like
Right.
symptom.
They're
It's
not
a
dying of
cold. It's
COVID. They're dying of
yeah,
common
it's SARS.
cold
It's
stuff.
essentially a type of SARS, right? Which
Hmm.
we've had for decades. We've got much more deadly viruses out there. Much more.
What
Ebola.
we should
We
be
had
doing
an
is strengthening our immune systems. That's the
right,
main.
but we don't get that from being isolated inside.
No. Yeah.
The sun is the best disinfectant out there. What was the first thing they told everyone to do? Stop going outside.
Yeah.
Well, even the SARS virus breaks down with vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
So where do we get our vitamin D? From sunlight. So now they're telling us to take our natural cure and walk away from it. Why? Because they want the worst result possible. We've cured everything else from heart attacks, cancer, the common cold,
Well,
other
the
flus and
isolation was a
viruses.
double-edged sword. The
Yeah,
isolation was a double-edged sword. It was not just from the sun, but
And
also from other people.
it is crazy. Like, and I don't know if that is true, but based on my information, like right now in some certain states of America, like they give you $100 to vaccinate yourself.
In Nevada,
Is
they're
that true
doing
or
shit
not?
like that. Las
can you
Vegas, they're
imagine
doing
you're
that.
being paid now? Because you
Yeah.
can't fear enough people into their bullshit story that doesn't add up. Now they're trying to
Yeah,
bribe them. So we tried threat, we tried fear tactics, now we're on the bribing.
yeah.
And here in Canada, they're basically a dictatorship.
Yeah, but
Luckily,
do you know what is the dangerous thing about that? Like, I mean, like there are a lot of people, especially in the United States, and like those $100, that is a lot of money for a lot of
it
people.
is. It is.
So, and that
Especially
is
now.
like for me, like, and don't please do not get me wrong. I am not gonna say that I am rich, but for me, $100, that's nothing. But there are a lot of people, those $100, that is a lot of money for them. So they are gonna
Absolutely.
put that shit into their body.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, a bribe is a bribe for a reason, right? Um, but like I said, when they can't use fear, it doesn't work anymore. Now, here in Canada, the US, and many other countries, we are still armed citizens, right? But they're trying to get rid of that here in Canada. Look at Australia. completely disarmed populace. Look how they're treating their citizens. They're taking children against their will and against their parents' will and forcing vaccines into them. They're they're slapping huge fines on the populace for
Yep.
breaking their COVID laws, and it's now a free for all for the government and the government's enforcers. Now, this is where we get into a line of, supporting police and not, because you really can't. Just like when Nazi Germany took over places, you couldn't say, well, that's a recruited soldier from a foreign country, right? Maybe somebody from Holland or France, and they were basically forced into being, German guard or whatever the case may be. You can't look at them and say, well, I can't take out that guy because he's not exactly a German. You know what I mean? Or he's not exactly a Nazi. Um, you had to kill that motherfucker because he's still one of their enforcers. Just like our police, they might not support what their government is doing, but they have to enforce it because they're bound by their own laws, their own
Yeah,
safety
yeah.
code, right? You can't look at the police as being on your side. They're on the enemy's side. They might be good people, they still gotta go. If you need to take over anything or force your government's hand to give you back your freedoms or to take back your freedoms, the police gotta go too. You
Yeah,
might be
you're right.
looking down the barrel of your
Yeah,
neighbor's gun. You never know.
the thing is like there's a difference between the person that you are really are or the function that you have.
That's right. And police are nothing but government enforcers.
Yeah.
They're good. They're a good police. I don't believe most police are bad. I really don't. And that's something I'll believe till the day I die. Most
and
people
and,
do not
and
join
like
the police
I
service
want
or
I
the
want to give
army.
you an example of that. Like here in the Netherlands, a lot of people are protesting against that COVID-19 bullshit, and like police violence is really high now. But let's say you are a police officer, you beat somebody up that doesn't wear a mask. You put a family into a police station because they were not wearing masks. I mean, like if you are a police officer and you come home, is that actually the thing that you're gonna tell your wife and children? Look, honey,
Exactly.
today I put another family into jail. Today
Yeah,
I beat up an innocent person because he was not wearing a mask. As a police officer, are you actually gonna tell that to your own family? Like if I was a police, I felt so embarrassing to say that. And like I said, like there is a difference between being a person or the function that you have.
exactly. But they set up this code to be used by the people who created it, right?
May I may I comment on that before I jump off here? And I also want to drop a couple
Yeah,
of links for everybody.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
man.
see, here's the problem, right? Remember I told you about de jure and de facto?
hmm
The ones that are currently enforcing and using the de facto system, not all of them are fully aware, right? So the foot soldiers, like the police and things like that, right? They really don't know what they're doing, right? Why? Because the mind fuck has grown to a level that you wouldn't even realize, right? So take for instance here in the States, it's always the state of, whatever state you're in. So the state of Nevada, state of California, state of Arizona, state of New Mexico, whatever. It's always a state of. Why is it of? Because they're not the state. They're corporation. They're all corporate. So as these foot soldiers learn who they are, they're automatically going to learn what they need to do because we as men have standing on the land. They work for us. Their salaries are paid for by us, right? So therefore they are our um, public servants, not servants of slaves, but they're public servants. So what can you do in take for instance, Canada? How can you learn more about this? What can you do to possibly arm yourself with the knowledge that I'm coming at you with today? Well, here's one link I'm going to drop into the comment section. This is a Warrior Calls. It's a Telegram group, and basically that Telegram group tells you of the laws between de jure and de facto. They don't really put it to you in those sort of terms, but they put it to you in a way that you can understand, and they also give you a lot of information about all the different things that are going on right now and how to protect yourself against the tyranny that may want to oppress you. So that's for Canada. And I have another one for the US. So I told you guys about Alphonse, and I'm going to give you Alphonse's Telegram as well, because I think it's going to be very important for you guys as you move forward and learn the difference between de jure and de facto, how to arm yourselves with the information that you need to continue as men on the land. And affidavit of status, affidavit of what do you call it? Hey, Win, you distracted me, buddy. Affidavit of status, affidavit of claims, and other affidavits that you can write. Even, let's see, just looking on my notes right now, I got to figure out what a full rento is, what injunctions are. Those are different things that I'm learning. So just give you guys the last thing before I leave. Over the weekend, I got pulled over. And I had my paperwork in order, okay? So I was doing about 90 miles an hour going down the highway. And I basically got pulled over. I had my affidavit of status in the car with me when I got pulled over. I was coming back from a camping trip. And basically the cop basically says to me, hey, can I have your license and registration, insurance card? And I basically pulled out my red folder, pulled out my paperwork with the affidavit of status, and gave it to him and said, here you go. And he goes, what's this? I said, well, that's my identification. And he read it, and it said there, I, man, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into it because I don't, dox myself here. But, and he's like, okay, so you're a man traveler. I said, okay, yeah. And he goes back, checks out things, make sure I don't have a warrant, nothing like that. He totally forgot about me doing 90 miles an hour, and he just concentrated on one thing, my insurance information. It was blurry. So therefore, I pulled out a better picture with my insurance card, and he goes, okay, have a good day. Slow down, please. He didn't tell me to slow down. He requested that I slow down. But that's the difference between being a man and being a citizen, gentlemen. I rest my case.
Right. But I mean, at the same time, when it comes to, like I said, the enforcer side of it, yeah, they might be paid by us. They might be here to serve and protect, but they're also still running under a government law,
Correct.
right?
And that's why you
They
can't run around without license plates. That's why you can't run around saying that I'm a man, blah,
exactly.
blah, blah. No,
But at the
when you
same
get
time,
them,
like when
when you get them
it comes
one-on-one,
to
when you get them one-on-one, they're reasonable people, right? They're just
most of
guys
them
like
are
us. Right. Most of them
exactly
are. If you give them the
most of them are.
paper,
Unfortunately,
most of them recognize what that piece of paper represents, and they're going to steer far and clear from you. Guaranteed.
at the same time, though, we have to take in, like I said, the reason we can't exclude them from the list of enemies, right, is the simple fact that they also have a hive mind as well, right? We've all seen it on movies, TV shows, news reports. When something goes bad and one of their own is injured or killed, it affects the whole hive.
Mm.
They will protect each other as well, even their bad apples, right? So, although you might have all the rights in the world to do whatever you've done, that doesn't mean he's going to enforce it or she's going to enforce it.
Oh
He's not
no,
going to, they
no.
don't always care about your rights.
But that's just
Very
it.
rarely do you actually
That's
see that.
just it. You can't argue with them. You can't argue on the roadside. Why? Because they got a gun. You don't. You have paperwork on your side, right? So if they take it further, if I gotten that ticket for speeding
Hmm.
for 90 miles an hour, I would have accepted it. I would have even signed for it. Why? because now he's entered a different territory. Now he's entered into my fee schedule, because my fee schedule clearly states that if you pull me over on a roadside stop and you make it official, you're going to be paying me money. That's the difference between man and water. I have the fee
that's
schedule
definitely
right here in
something I
front of
have to
me. You
look
want me to
into.
read off some things for you? Let me read off a few things. Okay, so on Appendix A of my fee schedule, let's go down to trade name information. Okay, so if someone asks me for my driver's license number, that's $50,000. If someone asks me for my social security number, that's $100,000. If you want to give me a citation, I'm going to charge you $75,000. If you issue a warning on a piece of paper, that would be $25,000. If you want me to appear in court, that would be $75,000 an hour in time in court, 1 hour minimum. These are, different things that you can easily put together. And then let me read off this one vehicle code out of the state of California and dissect this for you, okay? I'm going to read it slow. Section 21052. That's an actual code. Section 21052 of the vehicle code, not vehicle law, okay? Vehicle code. And I have an authentic copy right from the California website. This copy states, in 21052, the provisions of this code applicable to drivers of vehicles upon the highways apply to the drivers of all vehicles while engaged in the course of employment by this state, any political subdivision thereof, any municipal corporation, or any district, including authorized emergency vehicles, subject to those exemptions granted such authorized emergency vehicles in this code. Nowhere does it mention man. It only mentions drivers, vehicles, emergency, authorized emergency vehicles, employees of the state, and that sort of thing. It doesn't mention you. So this code right here says right here that none of the codes in the vehicle code section apply to you as a man.
Well, that could be why they don't.
Double I, can you post that links that you are mentioning?
Yeah, I posted 2 links into the chat.
Yeah,
Because I cannot see them. I cannot
Oh, the
see your
YouTube
links.
chat. Here we go. I'll put that's Alphonse.
I hate to beat and run, but I gotta take care of some things.
All right, Win.
All right, Win.
Yeah, take care, man. Peace out, Win.
Thanks for
Peace
coming in,
out.
buddy.
Yeah, peace, man. Inshallah.
Okay.
But
So
guys, the link that
I
I
gotta jump
posted
off.
right now. I mean, like, please check out that video. I mean, I want to warn you. This video goes really, really deep, and the guy that made this video, like, he is talking about things that you probably never even heard of. But please watch this video and prepare yourself for the winter.
Yeah. I mean, most law are so convoluted and so deep
There
and
you go.
so this poorly, uncommonly worded. The normal person would never figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, just take one section of law, like you were saying about traffic law. There are volumes, like encyclopedias, that can fill racks that are all based on vehicle law alone. And they use words in there that even the fucking dictionary has a hard time finding. You know what I mean? They
Okay,
obviously
so
have meanings to them, but you could have used something much simpler, right? More common, but they don't want it to be something where everybody can understand. You
right,
know what I
that's
mean?
why they changed the terminology and everything like that in their books. So I just pasted the link for California Vehicle Code 21052. If you guys go read it, I actually have it on the California Legislative site, .gov.
Mm-hmm.
It will show you on there that the codes don't apply to you as a man. If you voluntarily state that you're working for the state or the government or anything like that, then these laws apply to you. I mean, read it for yourself. The whole sentence in 21052 is a complete run-on sentence. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you read it for yourself, you'll see it. Just click on that link right there where it says legal information, legislative
But
California.
yeah, double I, yeah, I don't want to ask you many person. Like, can you tell like where in California do you live?
Oh, of course, yeah, Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles, because yeah, but I've been in Los Angeles in 2015. I mean, do you mean like downtown LA or LA County or
Well, I don't want to get into detail,
Mm.
but the law is everywhere, right? So
yeah?
this California Vehicle Code 21052 is for all over California, not just LA. And
Okay,
this code is just the California code. So this code right here um, has an equation or an equal code to every other state in the union, including um, the DC and Puerto Rico and other territories. So if you look
okay,
up all
okay.
the vehicle codes, none of them apply to men, man or woman, right? I'm using men loosely in this particular case. We're not talking about red pills, so we're not, going men or women. We're just men loosely. But if you go to the link that I posted there, right, and read it, right, read it, it won't even make sense to you in your own mind. I actually request that one of you read it out loud, just like I did, and as you're reading it, try and make sense of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a rolling palate.
That's
But
funny.
like double line, like you are living in like I've been in California in 2015. But do you know what yeah, I don't want to get off topic, but do you know what I like about the United States? It like every state and every city is so totally different. Like
Uh-huh.
when I was in LA, I've also been into San Diego, Long Beach, Orange County. Hey, what a world of difference! I mean, like the Los Angeles and especially downtown LA. Yeah,
No, it's a dump.
yeah. There's not much special about that.
No, it's a dump. It,
Yeah.
you've heard of
Oh,
Palos
I can't.
Verdes?
I can't.
Have you heard
Yep.
of Palos Verdes?
Uh, no, never heard of it.
Yeah, most people haven't. Look it up on the map.
Okay.
We need to Google map that bitch.
yeah. I'm
Oh
gonna do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And next time you come to
No,
California,
the
you need to
the only
visit Palos
places
Verdes.
when I was in the States, I only lived in Wisconsin, and I took the bus back up to Canada, so I got to see like most of the West basically from the road. Um, but yeah, I can honestly say that despite the lie we were told here in Canada that Wisconsin is like Canada's little brother, it's not. That's a fucking lie. It's as far north as your, I guess, oh, stereotype South come. Okay, I met more
When I when I
crazy
when I when
rednecks.
I was in Chicago in 2019, and when I was in Chicago, I took the train to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and I've only been in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for about I think 6 or 7 hours, but yeah, especially for me as a tourist, Milwaukee, what a beautiful city, man. And
Yeah,
then
Milwaukee's
like
nice.
but like do you know what it is like I am not from the United States, so like when I'm visiting the United States as a tourist, like for me everything is beautiful and everything is positive. But yeah, maybe you as a United States citizen or a Canadian citizen, you see that at a totally different way. But yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
for me as a tourist, hey, yo, America, yeah, what a beautiful country, man.
Well, I mean, for tourism, like just meeting people for the
As a
first part,
facade,
that's
yeah.
fine. Yeah, they're all very friendly face value. Not saying
Face
that at
value,
all, but
exactly. He hit it on the
yeah,
head.
yeah. But once you get to know them, like even
Superficial.
people you would consider friends, they would turn on you in a fucking instant.
Yes, dude.
In
Yeah,
Yeah,
an
he's right.
instant. And I
He
mean,
is.
like,
This guy's
they will
spitting the
make
truth.
shit up on, yeah, they'll make shit up on the spot and they will fucking lie through their teeth and it'll be your fault and you're an asshole and you're this and you're that. Like, my neighbor who I got along with fine for years, right? Turned on the drop of a hat to where he's like leaving his door cracked open because my driveway shared a connection with his door to go to his backyard. And I was fixing a tire, and he left the door open and cocked his shotgun like he was trying to intimidate me. It's like, dude, you come to the wrong place for that. I don't intimidate easy, right? And if
yeah,
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
you cocking a shotgun's gonna do anything, I have a bad idea. Why don't you bring it out and I won't go cock mine, I'll go fucking use it. And it'll be used on you. I shoot first and ask questions all later. Actually, if I ask them at all. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah, I
there
know
to
what you mean.
intimidate.
Like that is a total difference when you're gonna compare the United States and Western Europe. Like I am like West, like Europe can also be dangerous. Also here in Europe, we got a lot of criminality, murders, drugs, etc. But if I'm gonna seriously compare it to the United States, Europe is like a paradise. I mean, if like like me as a tourist, like American people give me a feeling that I am welcome in the United States, and I really appreciate that. But I think like you cannot compare to like Iraq or Syria or Afghanistan. But me myself as a European, I think the United States is a yeah, it's a pretty dangerous country. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it's a difference between meeting people face value and getting to know them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once they've decided to, and like I said, I mean, people lie all the time. When you're caught, there's no point in keeping going. There's no point in digging deeper. You know what I mean? Okay, you lie for a reason, whatever you thought was justified, it ain't. Moving on, right? That's how I
Yeah.
was raised. Moving the fuck on. I don't have time, nor patience, nor energy to spend on hating you for whatever fucking stupid shit you decided to come up with or what I decided to come up with. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
There, it's permanent. You know what I mean? Like friendships. I mean, I met people who had friendships for 10, 15 years, done in an instant, over nothing. Like, how fucking petty are you? You're saying that all the good times that you had together, all the, time that you spent with each other basically added up to nothing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true, and
And it might,
that is actually when it comes to people in general, that is how I see the United States. Like here in Europe, like there's one thing that I really love about the United States, and that is being creative. But like just because of the fact that people in America are creative, at the same time they can be more dangerous. They can be more criminal. And I am not gonna say that all American people are dangerous or crazy, but the most dangerous people, the most craziest people in this world, also the most dumbest people. You find them in the United States, and this is not to bash America because I really love America. No, I really love America, but
You know what?
America is a really special country.
I can't agree with you, and I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, but
well, there
yeah,
you go. See, double, that's the difference right there. Like we can disagree, right? And continue on with a new conversation or a new
Oh, but
topic, and
he's
and
he's
that's
got so
that's
many
fine
valid
day.
points on that. He's so right.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Exactly.
so right.
But I mean, with the people that I met in Wisconsin, right, that I got to know in the 4 years I was there, or 6 years, um, that's not how they are. It didn't matter what you disagreed on. It could be the flavor of ice cream that's best. They're your fucking enemy now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they want you dead over trivial shit. Like trivial. Fuck.
I'm gonna go take my
Are
seat
you
back in the
serious?
audience, guys.
Yeah, but also like when it comes to people, if let's say I am having a conflict with somebody here in Europe, the worst thing that can happen, like maybe that person is gonna pull a knife, but in the United States they can, there's a big chance they have a gun, and like you gotta understand me as a European. When I'm in the United States, I just keep my mouth shut because, like, first of all, it is not my country, and I do not know where people are capable of with, like, you know.
Well, and that's totally true as well. I mean, like I said, I mean, I couldn't legally own a firearm because I was a landed immigrant essentially, right? So not a full U.S. citizen in any way. I had no paperwork to say that I could own anything. I just had paperwork saying that I wouldn't be forced out, right? But at the same time, everybody else has that open. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not big on intimidation, right? People talk a lot of shit. When it comes
Yeah,
to action, that's a little different. They don't act, but when they do, they have an advantage right there. Here, it's
yeah,
different, right? Here, we don't have an advantage essentially. But I mean, if we had a disagreement in the street over your dog barking too loud, right? The last thing that we want to do, usually here on both sides, is break out a weapon. There's the first thing. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's the they start at level 10 and then they back down. I mean, like I said, the neighbor made up a complete fucking lie and basically tried to use it as an excuse for acting as a dick, right? To my kid. And I
yeah,
wasn't having it. I was like, no, man, that's not cool, right? I don't care what you're going through right now. That's no reason to take it out on other people. And that's how I was raised. I don't take things out on other people if I can help it. Just because my ex-wife is a bitch doesn't mean I go out and slap every broad that I fucking come across, right?
yeah.
But you don't do that. They don't seem to have a grasp on that. And to be honest with you, it's very much like how feminism works. Most feminine women will fucking take it out on everybody.
Yeah, true. But like
Everybody's the target.
when I like another example of the like when I was in LA, like when I was in Los Angeles, and then especially downtown LA at night, and places like Westlake, MacArthur Park, North Hollywood. Believe it or not, but I've been in Compton for about 3 hours. Like Los Angeles, for me it is the most. If there is one place in this world that I really had moments that I was scared of other people, it is LA, you know? And like before I went, like in LA, you have a lot of gangs. And before I went
Yep.
to LA, I never understood that. But uh, if you are walking alone in LA, you are only like, there is a big chance that you get bothered by a certain group of people. And like me myself, like I'm a tourist, I'm a peaceful guy. But after those 10 or 12 days, I was so sick and tired to getting picked on and named out by groups of people that, like, if I actually would live in LA, then I would be feeling forced to join a gang. Actually,
Yeah,
my point is, like, Los Angeles, it is not a city that you can just walk around on your own as like me. You gotta have a group of people that support you, and that is like, for me, that is the dangerous thing about Los Angeles. In Los Angeles you cannot be alone.
mm. Don actually asked a question. Did you try to immigrate to the U.S.?
No, man. I've been to the United States 3 times, but like,
Maybe John's confused with me. Um, I was
okay,
actually
okay.
married to a U.S. citizen, John. We had 3 kids together, and we tried immigrating here, her and her 2 boys here to Canada, but that fell through. And even the people at the immigration office,
Yeah,
their free advice off the record was to marry a woman from another country.
yeah. I
So
want to
we ended up
answer.
trying the U.S.
Yeah, I want to answer John P's question. Groups of people. I'm gonna give you an example, John P. When I was in Los Angeles, I was sitting in the metro or the Amtrak. Yeah, a train doesn't really matter. And I stepped out at a station called Westlake MacArthur Park, and I was walking there outside, John P. And from a long distance, I saw some sort of a building that looked like a castle. So I walked to that building, and I was walking across a park, and a couple of, yeah, pretty young guys like me, they were calling me out. They were like, hey, you come here. Hey, what the fuck are you doing here? Hey, yo, you come here right now. And yeah, John P, when I talk about groups of people in Los Angeles, I had moments in Los Angeles, like, the way how they looked at me, like I was some sort of a dog. Hey, you come here right now. I've never been so scared in my life. So yeah, John P, to answer your question, groups of people in Los Angeles, you cannot just walk around on your own. If you want to walk around alone, go to New York. But in LA, you gotta be really careful where you are going. And I am not gonna say that you see uh, gangsters around every street corner, but like, Los Angeles is based on small districts, and together they are forming Los Angeles. And you are asking, so who are those groups of people? uh, uh, Gangs like MS-13 or the 18th Street Gang. And when I was walking in Westlake MacArthur Park, by coincidence, I was wearing a black sweater, and that is a sign of the 18th Street Gang, the enemy of MS-13. So, and that is the dangerous thing about Los Angeles. Even though you maybe think that you are not dressed as a gangster, maybe they can still see you as a gangster. And that is the difference between Los Angeles and New York. Los
Yeah,
Angeles is crazy, but believe me or not, but those are my experiences.
yeah. My experiences with gangs came mostly from Edmonton, places like that. Gangs aren't gangs anymore. They're thugs. That's it. They're they're not gangs. Gangs were like the mob, you know. And I don't mean the new mob. I mean the old mob. But I guess some elements of the new mob is pretty much still there. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
when it
that,
comes
that,
to
that, that
gangs,
that is
most
true, and
gangs
I
are thugs.
actually wanna add something like that. Like, when I was walking, yeah, in Westlake MacArthur Park, you can look it up yourself. I was walking across the street, and at the wall I saw MS-30, and you know MS-30.
Yeah. Ones out
Yeah,
of
and I was
Mexico.
like, oh fuck, man. Oh no, man, shit. So I went back to the that metro station. But actually, what I mean is like gangs these days, they are using some sort of a gravity, wearing like MS-13. They are wearing white, combined with white and blue. You have the 18th Street Gang. They are wearing black. Crips are wearing red, etc. Actually, my point is they have so many things that they identify themselves that it is also easy for the police to track them down. So they are not
Yeah,
really gangsters anymore. Yeah, they are
they're thugs.
thugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thugs need recognition. They need people to know that I'm a thug and I got street cred.
yeah, yeah,
Gangs do not want recognition for anything other than being profitable. When the gang does something, you know it was a gang. When a thug does something, it's a random act of violence.
yeah.
Most gangs are not gangs. They're thugs. They're fucking street hoodlums. You know, they're not even good street hoodlums. I mean, the old definition of a street hoodlum was a kid that wasn't exactly in one of the big gangs or mobs. They were basically trying to learn the skills of the streets and then join a gang later.
Yeah,
Or
true, but yeah,
romantically sometimes.
yeah, I agree with you, but that doesn't
Yeah,
mean
I
that
mean,
they cannot be dangerous. I mean, like NS-13, they and the police do not. I am not gonna say that the Crips or the Bloods are pussies, but you actually have to do something wrong to them before you have like I mean like NS-13, they are attacking people for no reasons. So
exactly.
even though like whatever you calling them talks that like NS-13 is, they are extreme. Actually, I want all the gangs in the United States to join their forces and to rise up to destroy MS-13. You know, Crips, Bloods, Latin Kings, the Nietas, what join their destroy MS-13, man.
That's
The-
just it. Most of the people that are in gangs that actually are gangs or mob related, these punks aren't worth their time. They're not worth it. That's why they. Well, I mean, it's not that it doesn't happen. We had a group in Edmonton about 10 years ago, maybe 12. They called themselves Cambodian Killers. It was these young kids that came over from Cambodia that randomly went into the south side of Edmonton, which is like Chinatown area, right?
yeah, yeah,
And they were cutting up people randomly on the street with machetes. Okay,
yeah.
that made the news, right? Do you know what didn't make the news? When the Chinese mob fucking wiped them out and no one fucking found a body. They were just gone.
Yeah.
Difference between a fucking thug and a gang. The gang gets shit done and are quiet about it. The thugs need recognition. They need a spotlight. They're
Yeah,
like
I
Brad
agree with
thought.
you, but like I said, but the like most talks, they are a bigger group. No, no, sorry. Most gangs, they are bigger than those, yeah, guys that are underground. I mean, like NS-13 is if you look at the number, they are bigger than the Crips and the Bloods together. But
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that they are not dangerous because like
Oh, nobody's saying they're not dangerous, but they're not gangs. They're thugs, plain and
yeah,
simple. You, if you met a real gangster, you didn't meet a real gangster. You don't know he's a gangster. He doesn't want to be known as a gangster. He wants to be known
yeah,
as
I
your
know what
next
you
door
mean. Yeah, I
neighbor,
know what you
right? That's it. I mean, with recognition comes everything else. including the fact that you're going to be incarcerated for doing something wrong because they know you did something wrong.
Yeah.
How is that profitable, right? I mean, that's what most mobs were all about. It's all about money, right? That's why the government's considered a mob. but these thugs that are going around, they're doing it for street credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not a criminal if you're caught for everything you've done. You're what we call a bad criminal. You know what I mean? You're the
Yeah,
guy
I
who's facing
totally
it.
know what you mean, because like the thing is, Chris, like I don't know you and you don't know me. Maybe I'm a criminal and maybe you are a criminal, but we never got caught. You know, I mean, like maybe we are criminals without having trouble with. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that in English, but
Yeah,
like
you don't
it's
have a
like
rap sheet.
you are officially a criminal if they caught you. You know, if they never caught you, then officially you are not a criminal, whatever you do. So yeah, I get your point.
No, a crime's only taking place when you're caught.
Yeah,
Plain and simple. You're not a criminal until you're caught. Right?
yeah,
That doesn't mean you haven't done criminal actions, but you haven't been caught. So you're still not a criminal. You're walking the streets free and nobody knows who you are. Hey, like in the area that I live in right now, there are like 6 people missing. And I can put money on it. Good money. They're all within this area, right? And they'll never be found. So the person who's done it or persons who's done it, they're not criminals because they haven't been caught.
yeah,
But we still have missing people.
yeah,
Odds are they never will be. I mean, a guy up the street was caught with a dead hooker and buried in his mother's yard, but that's one. We can't pin the other 6 missing people on him.
yeah.
So
True. And like if there a like you also gotta ask yourself, was there a good reason for that or not?
no, he's just a sick fuck.
Okay.
He's a sick fuck. But you know, there are some innocent young women. It was all women, I believe, that went missing here, except for the one gentleman. They did just find him. He went hunting and dropped dead of a heart attack. But he was missing for Jesus all winter. So they found him this spring. But yeah, these young women are missing. They're 9. I can almost say 10 times out of 10 that are dead, but there's no guarantee. Some of them could have just ran off, right? But odds are they're dead. There's a very, very good chance that their bodies are somewhere around us, and we will never find them. And the person who did it still walking free. He's not out advertising. Thugs advertise, right?
Yeah, actually, you can see. Maybe that's a strange comparison, but I try to imagine that friendly neighbor of you that always say
Mhm.
hello to you and good morning, but you have seriously no idea what he is doing in his basement.
And that's why one of the golden rules of the street is to be careful who you insult because you
Yeah,
don't know who you're dealing with. You know, I mean,
yeah,
that's actually
exactly. And like,
written. That's written in the book, The 48 Laws of Power. Be careful who you insult because you don't know who you're insulting.
yeah,
One
exactly.
of the
Because
golden rules.
like, yeah, me myself, like, I did kickboxing about for 4 years.
Mhm.
So, but like I know how to fight, and just because of the fact that I know how to fight, I would never throw the first punch. Because I know what a fight is, I'm trying to do my best to stay away from the battlefield.
And most, like I said, whatever business you conduct under the table, in the, smoke room, whatever the case may be, dark alleys, that's between you and the person you're dealing with. If you go ahead and start leaving a trail of corpses
Yeah,
behind you,
and like it's more like, if people don't mess with you, they also don't have to know that. But if they mess
no,
with
and
you,
they don't have to
they
worry
will
about it.
find out.
Right. I mean, they don't have to worry about it. I have never pulled a gun on a person, but there is a loaded M4 Benelli sitting right there, loaded with
Yeah,
#9 buckshot. Well, 9 ball buckshot. If you think I wouldn't empty that fucking thing on anyone, you're wrong. I would. If somebody tried to break in here, I don't care what the laws are. They're going down, and I'm going to make sure they're down and not getting back up. If they
yeah,
have friends, they're going down too. You're either
yeah,
going to kill me or I'm going to kill you.
yeah.
One or the
Hey, can
other.
you,
Somebody's
bro?
not going home.
Can you hold on 2 minutes? I gotta take a
Yeah,
piss, man.
yeah. Let's see who's in the chat. I can't see
Yeah.
how many people are here. Just see their comments.
Yeah, Chris, I'm back, man. So
John, I'm actually from Canada. I was married to a U.S. citizen, though. Yes, I was born and raised in Canada. East Coast.
yeah, but like a lot, like you said, Chris, you don't have to tell, you can be a really dangerous person, but people will find out by themselves if they mess with you.
Yeah, essentially, I was a landed immigrant. The years when my former ex-wife and I were trying to immigrate her to Canada at first, it was the exact same years that they changed the laws here in Canada, so that essentially a married couple didn't guarantee you a citizenship. And when that happened here was when we were trying to immigrate her here. So now you had to go through a whole different process. So when we were trying for me in the US, Although it was a simpler process, they had also just switched. So basically, it started here, then the U.S. adopted it, but a simpler version. So then we decided to essentially immigrate me there was the initial plan. Unfortunately, we didn't even get that far. The marriage didn't last that long. Um, it was probably over a year or so before anything was ever mentioned. And like I said, 6 months prior to our divorce actually coming up, she had already been getting legal advice from free online sources and online lawyers to set up the game so that she would get sole custody of the children because the state benefits her to do that. You know what I mean? So she showed up with like a team of social workers and fucking legal aid that we couldn't get as men. Not a chance, right? Not a fucking chance. They're easy to deal with and they're easy to manipulate into that game. We generally try to keep the peace. I mean, most men go to family court shooting for 50-50 when it comes to custody of children. And most women go into it looking for at least like 80, I believe is the number, is they go for an 80-20 split. And yeah, uh, it's clear to see who's winning that game.
But what is
You can
actually
decide
what is
to move there. Like when you cross the border, your passport is stamped for at the longest period 6 months, right? Between Canada and the US. I don't know about other countries. So basically, you can go there just saying you're going to visit, and once you're there, you can say, "Well, I want to apply for citizenship now and live here." And as long as you're filling out you're in the process of filling out the applications and actually going through the steps of immigration, they don't try to force you out. But the worst thing you can do once you're there is leave. If you leave, they will use your extended period if you've gone over that 6 month period or whatever they've given you at the border crossing for a time frame. If you've gone over it, they'll use that against you to keep you in your country. So that's why a lot of like international students, even between here and Canada, they'll come here on a student visa and then never leave and apply for citizenship here because they don't like cancel your process. You know what I mean? If you came here on a work visa or a student visa and you decided that you just didn't want to go back anymore and you wanted to immigrate to one of these countries, they don't force you out and they don't cut off your student visa or work visa.
Yeah, but Chris, do you like
But
do you think
yeah, if they pick up
like
signs that you're moving there,
do you
like I went
think
back
do
with a
you think
couple
that
tools
do you
that I
think that
needed to
there's
move, and I was going to bring to
a
our
bigger
garage
future
down in the
in the United
U.S.
States or Canada?
When the customs agent looked in my bag and seen that I had equipment with me, like trade equipment, he was like, "Well, it looks like you're going to work, and you've actually signed here that you're going to visit." So he said, "I'm only going to give you 3 months." So it really is up to them.
Yeah, but Chris,
Yeah, if
I'm
you
like,
leave and you've broken their time frame, they don't have to let you back in until your process is done,
but Chris, do you think there is a better
and
future
most
in the
likely don't.
United States
They just look at it
or
as,
in
well,
Canada?
you've broken the terms, so you're not coming back in at all. Um, I believe there was a young man who was doing the same thing, and he basically went over his time by 3 days or something because of flight scheduling, and his son ended up getting ill and passing away while he was in Canada, and he wasn't even allowed to go back to the funeral. So they don't care what the reasons are. You're just not going back, right?
But Chris, like, do you think there is a better future in the United States than in Canada?
Ghost, are you back?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't hear
Yeah,
you,
I
dude.
said, I said, I said some things, but you probably didn't hear me. But yeah, no problem, man. But do you think that there is a better future in the United States than in Canada?
So, John, you can hear me, right? Can you hear Ghost as well?
Yo,
Ghost is not with
Chris,
me.
you hear me or not? Yo, Chris, you hear me or not?
No, that's weird. Ghost, do you have me muted on your end?
Wait, hold on.
Here, I'll just duck out and I'll pop back in. Oh, he's gone.
Yo, Chris, you can hear me?
I can hear you now, buddy. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
yeah. I said some things to you, but you probably cannot hear me. But actually, my question was like, do you think that there is a better future in the United States than in Canada?
No, no, I really
No.
don't. Especially with
Okay.
even with the draconian laws that Trudeau is trying to put on everyone to make them essentially as weak in defense as Australia, so that his dictatorship rules easier. Right now, because of our population size and the vast amount of land that we have, people can disappear here in an instant. In the U.S., I mean, you're facing the crowd, but eventually somebody's gonna find you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's very difficult there to conceal. Like right now, I mean, I can build a homestead anywhere I want, anywhere. Go a couple 100 kilometers away from nearest town and build a homestead. Nobody will ever find me. And if they do, I mean, if push came to shove, I can make them disappear, and nobody will ever find them. You know what I mean? You would have to literally trip over them by accident to find somebody. Um, but like I said, the downside is they are trying to make Canada like Australia and the UK, where all the citizens are disarmed. Right? It just makes their dictatorship that much easier.
Yeah, and also like yeah, the situation is a little bit different there. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe a little bit different topic. I'm a little bit curious. Like who are your favorite yeah MGTOW and Red Pill content creators?
Oh well, of course, there was Hammerhand who introduced me to you.
Okay, yeah, that's
There's
cool.
you. I mean, you know, like I said, the collaboration you guys did with the group there, I mean, that was genius. That was like solid fucking gold. You know, guys from every aspect of the philosophy coming and sitting at one table. That's something that other groups don't get to do. You know, um, I'd have to say our outcasts are probably the POAs, right? I mean, the pickup artists they aren't really like us, you know. But yeah, between Hammerhand and Terrence Potts, I mean, all his stuff was good, especially the old stuff. Um, Hammerhand's come a long way. I used to be a big fan of Better Bachelor. I used to watch Donovan Sharp. I don't anymore. Um, but yeah, there's obviously Sandman, you know, and Undead Chronic. All 14 of his channels I used to watch.
Actually, right now, my all-time favorites are Chris Cantu, Element, and Lazarus.
Chris Cantu, you mentioned him in the stream you did with, I think it was Chronicles of AJ, right?
Yeah,
Or
I
was
made
it?
up a whole. I don't know if you know that story, but I made up a whole
No, I
channel called.
don't. Yeah, the Chris Cantu guy, you guys spoke really highly of him, but apparently he decided to get out of the game and delete his stuff, but you had some of it, like recorded?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a pretty long story, but to keep it short, his channel was he had two channels and both of them they got deleted. But
Oh,
at the end of 2019, I had about more than 200 of his videos, and I decided to yeah make a channel called Chris Can to Rebirth. So I uploaded a lot of his videos. I did two live streams with him. The Chris Can to Rebirth channel. I also made a video about that on my channel. Chris Can to Rebirth Terminated. Yeah, check out that video. But anyway, we
oh,
made it about 860 subs. I have posted about 252 videos, but also, yeah, my channel with Chris Cantu's content, yeah, got deleted. But yeah, a lot of guys are still thankful, yeah, to me because I make that channel, and I wanted to make that channel because like I do not always agree with Chris Cantu, but the way how he brought up MGTOW and the red pill is amazing, and he was one of the reasons that I started to produce my own content. So yeah, for me, yeah, Chris Cantu is definitely still one of my favorite content creators. Think of the man
yeah,
what you want, but he really inspired me.
yeah, no, that's definitely some homework I gotta do. Like I said, there's so many creators out there that don't get the recognition they deserve. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
hundreds of hours of great content, and basically they're tucked in a corner. Even our bigger one, right? Like Terrence Pops, he's been doing this for fucking 10 years, man. 10 years he's been doing constantly. And what was it, like 30,000 subscribers or something like that? You don't find our philosophy or our content, or well, I shouldn't say ours, your guys' content, uh, when you do a search, you find the other side. Like if I were to type in just MGTOW into the chat, right? Or into
yeah,
the search bar, the first thing I'm going to find is all the negative. They're all misogynists. They're all rapists. They're all women haters. Usually that's the first thing comes up, right?
yeah,
They're trash. You will never find anyone that is literally there for the well being, the better future of both men and boys, right?
yeah. Yo, song to this prophet.
Paul,
Yeah, I've been good, man. Good to see you on the stream. But
no
yeah,
crap.
exactly. What you say, man? You are totally right. And like when it comes to MGTOW and Red Pill content, if I'm gonna compare that with 5 or 6 years ago, the message has been changed, and especially the new guys that are coming in right now. Like I hope they get the right information.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Uncle Guns is back. Hello, Guns. Yeah, no, like our content is pushed to, or like I said, your guys' content is it's pushed to the dark side of everything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, the
only negative
majority.
things come up. Yeah, the majority. Okay, let's take the people that are on the outskirts of what MGTOW really is. We're gonna go with PUAs. Pickup artists, they get more recognition than guys that are actually MGTOWs.
Yeah.
way more. Why? Because they still play into the narrative. They still play into keeping men in servitude, plain and simple, right? Because they're playing the game that they want them to play. I mean, why? You know, it's because they're afraid. This separates us from their matrix, as you call it, right?
Yeah, and
You know,
right now I'm gonna say something really powerful, you know, and like this is not to bash my other fellow content creators, but like what I'm gonna say right now, like I cannot prove it. I don't have no evidence for that, but like, do you know what it is with the majority of the content creators? They are lying about their personal lives. They are just making up stories so that they can make a video about
100%. That's why I don't follow Donovan Sharp anymore, right? When the truth came out about how he is and what a con artist he is, when the truth came out about, well, I never followed or watched really much of anything from the Fit and Fresh guys or whatever they're called, but I got clips from other content creators, right?
it. Yeah.
Um, it's a facade. It's a lie, and they're trying to sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
and
like
actually,
the
if you gonna look at the average, like the red pilled content right now, like the majority, like 90% of the so-called red pilled content, it has actually nothing to do anymore with the red pill. It
no,
is just it is just common sense, and like the red pill is information based on, like, most people don't know what you know, but most of the so-called red pilled content right now, it is not red pilled, it is just common sense.
yeah, or even blue pill. Like John said, they're
Yeah,
entertainers. They're entertainment, and then that I don't see it as good entertainment even. You know what I mean? Uh, Kevin Samuel. Yeah, I'm sure most people know him, right?
yeah, I know him, yeah.
Your average at best. Kevin Samuels talks a lot of truth. He drops a lot of red pill truths. He lives the lifestyle most likely, but at the same time, he's still trying to perpetuate something that does not work for men because of the law. The law
Yeah,
does not protect men. It protects women only, and that is it. Not even children, because women can kill children all day long and walk away free, right? Um,
yeah,
but at the same time, he's still kind of like, and it's really the only downside to it is he's trying to still keep men coming back to that plantation, as it's called. Fresh and Fit, they do the same thing, but they straight up lie about their lives, right? Donovan Sharp, they lie
yeah.
about their lives, and it's all about getting pussy. Okay, well, other than getting your rocks off, it's never benefited anyone to have a piece of pussy around unless you're selling it to somebody else, right?
And
So,
that is also the problem. Like I think that there is always a discussion, if you are a real MGTOW, you gotta be a monk. But let me put it this way. Like I have like you don't have to go MGTOW if you don't want. You don't have to walk
no,
away from women if you don't want. But you are like a lot of guys. They are claiming, like, I walked away from women, but I just pumped and dumped. No, man, then you did not walked away from women. End of story.
well, I mean, especially being in the U.S., these guys are based out of the U.S. Nowhere else on Earth other than Canada, probably, or Australia, are there more false allegations made about men when it comes to even pump and dumps, right? Or willing participants that have literally ruined their fucking lives. And these guys are saying, go pump as many as you can. Like, are you fucking nuts? You're
Yeah.
literally telling them to play Russian roulette with every barrel loaded.
Yeah, and that
That's
is that yeah
stupid.
that is the way how I think pumping. If you just pump and dump, you take more risk and you put yourself more into the danger zone than when you are actually having a relationship with a woman. I think pumping and
Absolutely.
dumping is more dangerous, I think.
It is. Because now you have not just, the random, okay, out of all the women that have had one night stands, a very small percentage have done the false allegations or the regret sex allegations, right? A small percentage. Now you're telling guys to go out there and play the odds,
Yeah.
pump as many as you can. And the thing is, like, these false allegations, they haven't dropped in numbers. They've increased dramatically, right? And the worst part is despite all the evidence that proves otherwise, when the case is actually heard, that man's life is still fucking over. You're done. Truth or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. But
And
like,
it doesn't.
I think what you talk about, like men, like this is not to bash men, but right now a lot of men these days they are idiots. They are simps. Women know that, and they take advantage of that. Because if you are really aware with female nature, like me, you can never blame it on, like, I don't blame it on women. I blame it on other men. And women, they took advantage of that. Like, and that is a mistake what a lot of guys within the manosphere say. Like, yeah, women are stupid, women are dumb. No, women are not dumb and women are not stupid. Because if women would be dumb and stupid, then you would probably never be in the situation that you are in right now. So don't talk shit that women are stupid. No, the majority of us men are stupid. And women, they took
Well, I mean,
advantage of that.
look at what Fresh and Fit did, or I don't even know who their names are really, but the one Fresh and Fit guy, I think he's one of the main hosts, or he is the main host.
Yeah, yeah.
He basically sent out an email to invite some female streamer onto his platform and was like, "Oh, we're gonna fuck, by the way." And
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
like, "No
I read
thanks."
that. It's more like,
Yeah,
if I cannot fuck
yeah,
you, then yeah, 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 I know what you mean.
yeah. Then you can't come on. We're that famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's literally going to be between that and the paying the prostitute to come on, and she was like not even a good looking prostitute. Paying her exorbitant amounts of money to come onto the show and have sex with him. That has just literally cut all their validation that they had. I'm not saying that any of the guys or people should not subscribe or subscribe to other people, whether I do agree with them or not. Go hear it for yourself. Even the bad ones, even the pretenders, will drop little nuggets of gold that are true, right? And
yeah,
beneficial. But if you're going to buy in lock, stock, and barrel to everything somebody like Fresh and Fit or Donovan Sharp is saying, you're done. Your time is literally running out. The clock is ticking. We've got sperm jackers. We've got women that get knocked up and without paternity test can say that you own the child and you're stuck with child support and bills. We've got the false rape allegation that no matter if they're proven false or not, your life is still destroyed and they get to walk away scot free. It really does not cost them anything to put a false allegation in against you. It really doesn't. Um, there's a woman from Australia who hosted a show there a few months back, and she had on a former Australian female police officer, right? She went through the details of what they are told to do and they are told to treat every allegation from a woman as fact. Because if they don't believe the story or something doesn't add up, right, and it turns out to be true that this person is being abused in some way, the police officer is on the line for it. So if you're beating up your wife and they think, well, she's got no marks, so we're just gonna walk away and leave you with her, and he kills her or you kill her, that's on the police officer, right? So they have to
Yeah.
treat every allegation that comes from a woman as fact, no matter what the evidence says. That's all they need. That's all they need. And your life is over. Your jobs are over, your career is over, your schooling can be over. Mattress Girl, one from the US just recently. I mean, it's a few years old now, but look at that. She put on a fucking whole show where she carried around a mattress on her back from a guy she would not take no from, and then went and said he raped her. His
Damn.
career is still over, and she's walking scot-free, now wondering why no men will have anything to do with her.
Shit.
Uh,
Yeah.
Jesus, I wonder why. Now you got
Yeah.
guys like Fresh and Fit telling you to go out and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
also wonder why. I also wonder. That's yeah, a little bit strange, man. No, but
yeah.
yeah, no,
I mean,
I totally get your point, man. I get your point, and that is also the dangerous thing about that type of content. Like, it is not red pilled content; it is purple pilled content, and that type of
yeah,
garbage that will drag men back to the plantation.
yeah. And I mean, here's the thing: we're men. We have sexual urges that literally determine everything we do, right?
Yeah,
That's our nature. They're literally using our nature against us. That's like us telling a tree to grow sideways. Well, it doesn't want to grow sideways. It wants to grow straight up, right?
yeah,
It just don't add up. So now if we were to use that tree's nature to grow straight up against it by, say, putting weight only at the top, I mean, it has no choice but to go to the sides, right?
yeah.
But and these guys are like, yeah, go play Russian roulette with a fully loaded 6-shooter. That's stupid. That is fucking stupid. Don't do it.
It
The
is
most
like
popular.
it's not only stupid. The dirtiest thing is that those dirt, like, they are actually making money out of it.
Yeah, they're getting their 5 minutes of fame, which, with the invention of the internet, has been taking their hypergamy to levels that are just beyond skyrocketing. Right? Every chick out there wants their 5 minutes of fame now, right?
Yeah,
And they're basically using media to get it, false allegations because there's no consequence for them, and in the end, they still get their tingly feelings from having people look at them, right, for the 5 minutes. And John is not wrong here. Anybody in the English speaking world, especially the US, who's in college would have to be crazy to try anything, right? You're not wrong, John. Not at all. Especially in these liberal colleges now, right? Which is most of them. Because even the college's police, or whatever you want to call them, I think they're college police. Um, they are there to treat every allegation in the exact same way. You, as a man, are guilty, and her, as a woman, is innocent and a victim. That is it. There's no part two to this.
yeah, true. But
So,
like, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you are trying to hook up with a girl. Uh, like if you like, the more honest you are with a woman, then there is a less then there is a less chance that you are getting falsely accused of rape. And actually, my point is like if you are saying to a woman, like, I work at McDonald's, I'm riding on a
Mhm.
bicycle, and you have a one night stand with her, like me myself, I don't see nothing dangerous within that, because you told her the truth. But let's say when it
No,
comes to having game, let's say you tell to that same girl, I work at a bank, I drive in a Mercedes, and you fuck her, and she find out that you lied to her, then you put yourself into the danger zone. So yeah, actually, my
well,
point is like, uh, the more honest you are, the less you put yourself into that danger zone.
and I mean, we touched on that on the last live stream that I was on with you. In
Yeah,
some states, it is illegal to lie about your financial background.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just like you said, if you lie to her and say you're a billionaire, she fucks you, she finds out that you're not. In some states,
yeah.
that is
You
a
raped her.
crime,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you're going to jail. I don't know
yeah.
if you guys know this, but jail is not fun. Nobody goes to jail for a fucking vacation. Why
No.
would you want to if you did? If you find jail to be a vacation, then by all means go to jail. But you know, I wouldn't do it that way.
And to be
Yeah,
really honest,
these
like me myself, I never finished high school, so put me in jail. For me, that's an alternative of high school. I'm just
yeah.
kidding. No, I'm just
I,
kidding, man.
I I didn't finish the high school either, man. I went and worked on the oil rigs as soon as I was legal. Actually, before I was legal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
I
but I
mean,
get your
these
point, man.
young, but these young guys that are being indoctrinated into the feminist fucking movement, these are not the guys women want to sleep with either, right? They're the
Yeah.
friend. James Maxwell had a feminist on who does the nude yoga a few months ago. Complete fucking
What?
airhead,
The what?
honestly. He does nude yoga, and by the way, it's on YouTube and it's fully monetized. Um,
You mean
but
like
you're not.
it is legal, but yeah, I
Yes,
consider that as soft porn, but it is legal on
yes,
YouTube, right?
it is. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. But you saying men should look after themselves, totally not allowed. No way.
Okay.
So, right. So, yeah, this delusional woman came on and was like, "Oh, well, I mean, it's only right for a man to go to jail if he lies to her about her finances or about his finances." That's like, what about when women lie to men? Oh, no problem there. No problem.
Yeah.
Sperm jacking, things like that. I mean, she mentioned that she had a bunch of feminist male friends, right? Because
Yeah.
she's a feminist as well. My answer to that was, of course you do. And you don't fuck them. You put them in a friend zone, and that's where you leave them until you need them for something. You don't actually give anything to these women or to these men, right? Male feminists are tools to be used. That's it. They don't get anything out of it. You're never going to get anything out of this by being a male feminist. That's just the
Yeah.
truth of it. You're her friend in a friend zone, and you're used when she needs you. Of course, they have a fucking, a harem of male feminist friends.
Yeah,
Why
true,
wouldn't you?
and that is also what I mean. Like when I say, like, don't be a useful idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but that's not what they're trained. Young, young men right now, past probably 40 years, I guess, from what I've looked up, men have had all their male figures removed from their lives by the law, like my 3 children in the U.S., right? They don't know what it's like to be a man. They don't know how to be young men. They will never learn it from her. Never. Young
Yeah.
men and young women, children, young women need men, like positive male role models in their lives, to show them what to look for when they are of life age, right? Young
Yeah.
men need older men to be mentors in their lives to show them how to be a man in their future. And they've removed that. Now they're left with women that can't make up their fucking minds on what they want from hour to hour. You ever ask a woman what she wants in a man? How long does the list get? And how often does it change or get added to or have things subtracted from it? All the time. Right? If anything, we should change the term of woman to gender fluid because
Yeah,
everything
but
they decide they want is completely fluid.
what women want, it doesn't make sense. I mean, like, they want a man to take care of them, but at the same time they
Mhm.
want to be independent. That doesn't make, like,
No, they
you are independent, or somebody is gonna take care of you. It's the one thing or
yeah,
the other thing. And like
yeah, it's not both.
that is also an aspect. That is an old video of mine. Women will always be trapped inside the matrix forever.
Yeah. But see, that's just it. It's because it's set up to benefit them, right? Rules don't apply. Everything they could ever want is handed to them. Everyone sees them as a victim if they want to be, right? And if they wanted attention, all they have to do is bounce around. That's it. How many YouTube videos do you see where chicks with just nice tits, millions of subscribers, guys dropping very useful information, tips to help people get through something or deal with something? Next to none.
Yeah.
But you got nice tits and you're kind of cute, baby, you're in. That's why they can break rules and get away with it with like a slap on the wrist. But if you were to do the same thing, you would never get back on a platform again. Twitch.
Yeah, true, man.
You know what Twitch is, right? Ghost.
Yeah.
You know what Twitch is, right?
So sorry, say again.
Do you know what Twitch is?
Twitch.
The app Twitch. Yeah.
Uh, now to be honest, no, I don't know what Twitch is.
Okay. Well, it was like it's a streaming site, just sort of like YouTube, but it was specifically designed for
Oh yeah, yeah,
gamers.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So you look at how Twitch female streamers are compared to male streamers, right?
yeah,
I'm I'm talking about like there's a couple male streamers that have millions of subs. There were a couple that had millions of subs and were dropped in an instant. But there are female streamers out there with, a couple 100,000 or a million subs. They can literally show their fucking twat right on Twitch, get a 3-day ban, and be back with a million more subscribers the next week.
yeah. But that's also on YouTube. I mean, like, there are
Yeah,
channels with
yeah, it's on
women.
YouTube.
They are just showing themselves in bikinis. There are channels with girls. They are just sucking on a popsicle, man. I mean, they get
Yeah,
millions and millions of like a channel like me. Like, I am gonna get banned if my channel becomes bigger. I know that for sure. But
Because
those
you,
type of bullshit channels, they will be on YouTube forever. I mean, how sick is that? And like, like, I am not jealous that they have more subscribers than me. No, I am jealous of because of the fact that it doesn't have to be that way.
so
because you're not doing enough
I'm willing.
Brazilian waxing. You're not
Yeah,
doing enough Brazilian
exactly.
waxing.
Yes, yes.
Welcome, Uncle
Yeah.
Gun.
Hey, by the way, Uncle Gans, yeah, welcome, man. I gotta talk. I gotta
Yeah,
go take a piss again, guys. I will be back in 2 minutes. You guys talk to each other.
to answer John's question here, why were these male streamers dropped? I didn't know the male streamers as well. I actually got their info from other people making reaction videos. But I think it was Mr. Dangerous or Mr. Spectre, something weird like that. He was basically like a comedian slash gaming streamer, right? So he was a pretty blunt, funny guy. I believe it had something to do with him and his opinion on either the election or on the exact same thing that we were just talking about, which was Twitch streamers. You know, these girls doing all kinds of weird shit. And they dropped him like that in a fucking heartbeat. He was banned from it. As far as I know, he didn't do anything that, violated their terms of service. He just said something. That was it. No, not Acid. He's the asshole.
I'm looking at what is going to be the next big format thing. I'm trying to get in on the ground floor of what might be the next hot format, because you guys were talking earlier about Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels, both channels, which I have nothing against these channels. I don't watch them because I don't agree with them, but I saw them and I still see them occasionally because I'm in the sphere. But I noticed that they had a type of show before, and once they started doing a format, it reminded me of something. It reminded me of you're older guy, Chris, so you might remember this, but like back in the day of the old talk shows, where some of the talk shows kind of died, but other ones are like still going to this day. Like I look at Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels, and I'm like, that's it. This is it. It's Jerry Springer and Maury Povich.
Oh, geez. Yeah, Jerry Springer.
They found
Maury
a format. Yeah, they found a format, and once Jerry Springer found his format, and the ratings jumped up, he couldn't get away from doing that format. He could never go back to his old show. Just like Maury, when Maury started doing the whole "you are the father" thing, he could never go back to his old show format.
And you know what? I used to, when I was a kid, I think I was about 11 or 12, I was in school. I used to come home in the afternoon from school and watch Jerry Springer before, when he actually talked on serious topics.
Right.
Right? And then, like you said, he found the trailer trash. I'm having an affair with my brother's uncle's cousin. Right? And fuck, that was it. The show was over. And like you said, Maury Povich used to be the same way. He used to have serious topics. They would speak with, different, interesting people all the time. Now it's just a repeat of the day before with new faces.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing as Kevin Samuels and Fresh. And again, I have no qualms with it. It's not my type of ordeal, but I'm just saying that these gentlemen, I think these channels are stuck. They're stuck at doing the same format forever.
Well, I mean, Kevin Samuels it's hard to link them together, except for the fact that they reference each other a lot. Well, I know Kevin Samuels reference the Fresh and Fit guys a lot.
Actually, this is when you guys talk about those channels. This is actually the way how I would explain it. Like, they are not playing to win; they are playing to not lose.
Yeah, they're playing the pander. But like Kevin Samuels drops a lot of good information.
Agreed.
Lot. And
agreed.
And I think that he really does, in the end, still look out for a guy's interest, right? Now, he wants you to be more on the successful side of finances and things of that nature as well. but it also comes down to vetting the woman, type of thing, and where they went wrong. But at the same time, he can't change the law, and the laws are in place. We're always going to be disadvantaged as long as the laws are in place the way they are.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
As long as she's an eternal victim and you're an eternal fucking pedophile, rapist, monster, misogynistic pig, there's nothing we can do. So,
Yeah, true.
in that
And
aspect,
like, yeah, sorry that I interrupt you, man. But
no,
what I want to say is, like, like when you talk about Kevin Samuels, like, let's say the laws would be different, then Kevin Samuels' content also will be different. Like his content is based on the rules that we are living in, and I don't think that he is making content based on his own experiences. That is actually my opinion about Kevin Samuels. And
and that's
like
possible
if
too.
you like if you have 1 million subs, if you have 1 million subscribers, hey bro, power to you. But for me, you are nobody, nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I I would have to say that people like Donovan Sharp, and from what I've gathered from the Fresh and Fit guys, pickup artists, the ones that are trying to sell you these programs, uh, Rolly Tomasi, those guys, they're dangerous. You are literally fucking playing with fire. If you take their advice, there is a very good chance you're going to end up in jail, never being able to get a job, and completely fucking broke. So you take that information and figure out if the pussy's worth it. Me personally, like I said, with Kevin, I do watch Kevin all the time. I really do. I like him. I like his content for the most part. I don't agree with everything, but I like his content. He had a stream a few days ago where he talked about your value as time as a man, right? Your hours in your day, and the difference between dating a woman and just paying for a piece of ass when you need it in between. I totally agree with him. My time is worth more to me than the risk of ending up with a false allegation against me, spending the time to go out and wine and dine some chick just to get into her panties days or weeks or months later. I'd rather just go spend, the $250 and get what I want for an hour and send her on her way. That makes total sense. Fresh and Fit is telling you to go up to the bar, and these are, the women that you hire, most of them anyway, are, professionals, right? You hear it all the time when you mention prostitution. You'll hear it all the time from women. Oh, those girls are dirty. They're disease bags. Those women are paid professionals. Their pussy is their job. They protect their job. You and the other bar whores, though, that don't know who you slept with last and can't remember the last time you ever asked for protection, you're the disease bags. You can't get that logic through to them, but that is the fucking truth. That is the truth of it. I have dated chicks that I picked up from the bar or met through friends at the bar, right? And I don't mean like actual dating, but I slept with a few times. They couldn't count how many guys they had been with. And when I knew them from this circle now, I used to see them go home with a different guy every night of the weekend. If she had done that for 2 years straight, how many fucking days is that? 3 days every week, 3 years. And who's to say she hasn't been doing it for 8 years,
So
right?
yeah, like you can consider that those are miles and miles of cock.
Miles, dude. If they had to do the cock stacking challenge, they would be dead. Like honestly, I had one girl tell me over a period of about an hour conversation, she could not count, couldn't
Yeah.
physically think about a number that would come close to how many guys she's fucked without protection. And the prostitutes 30? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Don't get a low-grade prostitute, right?
Yeah. I used to work and hang around strip clubs a lot in my younger days, and the girls there, there's just no shame. There's just zero shame, and they're not afraid to admit it. It's like they work the pole, they work the stage and everything, but towards without fail, come around what, the 25th, 27th of the month, sure enough, all the girls in the back room waiting for their turn to go on stage, wiping themselves down, getting ready to go up, changing outfits. And here I am doing the bar back thing, or, doing different things, and talking about, man, it's the 28th. I got rent coming up. I'm gonna have to suck a lot of dick tonight.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I mean,
There's no shame.
I lived in Victoria for a lot, and that's where I got my first prostitute, was actually in Victoria. I mean, the same girls that you call from an agency, right, thinking that this is a little more professional, the escort agency. Yeah, those girls are still out walking the street in between phone calls, right? So it's the same kind of thing there.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to your time and what it costs you to, like, I mean, there's a reason why even guys that do the dating thing on Tinder, right? What's the most common date you hear them having now? Oh, we grabbed coffee, we went and sat somewhere and chatted for a while. Why? Because taking her out to an actual dinner and shit is not worth it. But yeah, $3 for a coffee, done it myself, no problem. I'll come out and hang out, and if things click, well, we might fuck later down the road, we might not.
But yo,
But at least I didn't.
yo, Chris, $3 for a cup of coffee with some extra cream.
Yeah. And if you want extra cream, you'd be surprised, dude. Is like that's all it takes. You know what I mean? That's really all it takes is a cup of coffee, bit of chatting, and before you know it, she'll be on your balls. She'll actually be offended and won't sleep with you if you don't try right away. Some of them are fucked.
Yeah.
I met some interesting women through Tinder, and I don't mean interesting in a good way. I mean just fuck. Somebody needs to write this down, dude. Somebody needs to write this shit down and like hand it out as textbooks in school.
Did you ever?
This is what's waiting for you.
You ever see? Do you know who Shannon Rice Lewis is?
No, never heard of.
There's a channel. You guys are gonna love this. I'm about to change your fucking lives. There's a channel on YouTube. It's called Shannon. It sounds like a chick's name. Shannon Rice Lewis. This guy does cartoons. They're MGTOW and red pill cartoons, and I don't know why this guy isn't bigger, but he covers a lot of Tinder, Bumble, dating type, and they're all cartoons, and they're like less than 3 minutes. It is. I don't see why this isn't like the next big explosion. I stumbled on it the other day, and I can't get enough.
You know what?
Yeah, I am
actually
checking
seen
that out.
that.
I am checking that out right now. Shannon Rice Lewis, 2K subs, right?
Yeah, it should be a bunch of, when you see a bunch of like cartoon images, that should be it.
Yeah. I see.
I don't see why that guy's not on all these channels, either doing cartoons for all these channels, or he's not. He doesn't have his own show like Ghost does. All he does is these cartoons, and they're freaking hilarious.
I have seen some of those, I believe. Oh, maybe not this one. But there's a couple of guys that are doing that now. They're doing like animes to basically point out like the funniest shit. Like there's a MGTOW one where the dude's fat wife is getting hounded by Tyrone and Chad, and you got a lawyer that's trying to feed him red pills.
I saw that one. I saw that one.
Yeah.
Hey, but guys, I really appreciate your time. I don't want to be a party pooper, but for me it's 12 o'clock now. I got about 4 hours and 45 minutes, and then I gotta go to work. Yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta cut
No, it's all good, buddy.
this off, guys. I'm gonna
Yeah, it's your
starting to
show,
get
man.
tired.
Well,
It's
thank
your
you
Yeah,
for
show.
having
yeah,
me, buddy.
yeah. Yeah, thanks for your time, guys. I gotta go to work within 4 hours and 45 minutes, so I'm gonna get some sleep. Yeah, Chris, thank you for being here, man. Oh, your device is not connected. Yeah, Uncle Guns, you are also from the United States, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you? You don't have to tell me if you want, but from what state or what city?
I live in the southeast part of the United States.
Southeast.
Yes, sir.
So somewhere like Atlanta, Georgia.
Kind of, yeah, sort of close.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just guessing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, kind of, sort of close.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry,
Yeah.
the Streamlabs wanted to access my devices again, and it just shut me off.
Oh, cool, guys. Hey, but guys, wait, I'm gonna drop my. Yeah, I don't know what happened with my last live stream, but a lot of comments got deleted. Not by me, but by YouTube.
Of course.
But I'm just gonna drop my email into the comment box. So if you guys are interested, then you can send me an email.
Yeah,
But
well, I'm always up to shoot the shit.
Yeah,
Well,
man, it was good being back here, the old Three Amigos. I hope we can do it more often. Hope we can do it soon. Just everybody be careful out there. Since I was again the last one in here, I'll be the first one out. It was a
All right,
pleasure,
I'm
Chris.
done,
It was
buddy.
a pleasure, Ghost, as always. Be the man, and never forget. Be safe, but stay dangerous.
yeah,
Will do, brother.
Uncle Gons, how did you find my channel?
I How did I find your channel? About as often as I can every day. I wait till about 5 or 10 minutes past the hour, and I go into YouTube. I type in MGTOW, and then I filter by live, and then I click enter, and I see who's got going on. And if there's nothing going on there, I click on red pill. I type in red pill, filter by live, and then so on and so forth. I watch everybody. I click on black pill. I click on gold pill. I click on every pill you can imagine, just to see who's live and who's out there, who's talking about what.
Yeah, that is what I really like to hear. Actually your point is like it is about the algorithm.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and like they keep
Yeah,
burying your guys' content as deep as possible. If you type in anything like that, the first thing that pops up is 20 channels of negative shit, right? If you don't believe me, go try it yourself. Just go on YouTube without logging into your account, type in MGTOW, red pill, whatever the fuck you want, and you will find all the negative shit. That's it.
yeah, true. And like I said before, like especially the new guys that are coming in, I hope that they get the right information because like when it comes to the red, like the unfortunately the message has been changed, but and that is also the reason like I really appreciate my small following because like my channel is not for everybody. My channel is not to wake people up. No, my channel is for those that already have woken up.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I mean, like I said, it's not that the message isn't getting out there, but a lot of it is spread by word of mouth. My
Yeah.
my nephew and his two friends came here to visit for a couple weeks ago. they were on the exact same level as us, but they had no idea what MGTOW was. You're already there, buddy. You're already there. They see what's going on, and they don't like it.
Yeah, it's
So-
more like, you know, like you are already at the circus and you didn't even have to buy a ticket for it.
Right? Can I
Right.
get off this ride? So yeah,
I'm gonna duck out of here and let you go, man.
That was good hearing from you,
But,
buddy.
you guys, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
cut
brother.
this off, man. You guys want to do an outro?
Oh no, like I said, you know, MGTOW is freedom. Freedom is life. There's not much else out there for you. You got to start there.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I'm gonna cut this off, guys. It's thank you all MGTOW. All we got is us. It's MGTOW worldwide, you know, forever red until dead. And I am ghosting out now, guys. Peace.